Chapter 1552. Yang Yu had already made his stance clear. He wanted to make sure that Night Sorrow had no place to stand. Hence, he made a big fuss. Today, 3 heaven monarchs and a team of sovereigns were in charge of sealing off Night Sorrow's shop. Night Sorrow wanted to counterattack. Naturally, he didn't care about the opponent's cultivation level. Rushing out of the shop, Night Sorrow executed the afterimage body. A few afterimages pounced on the other 2 heaven monarchs to stop them from helping. Then, he executed the Great Death Destruction Slash with the space-splitting spear. After the Great Death Destruction Slash, he executed the Crescent Blade of the Soul Extermination Slash. The old man who was intercepting Night Sorrow's customers was alerted when Night Sorrow made his move. He took out his battle saber and slashed in the direction where Night Sorrow was coming from. The fiery red saber light was like a fire dragon as it rushed towards Night Sorrow. However, the same counterattack lost its effect when Night Sorrow's body flashed. At the same time, Night Sorrow's Great Death Destruction Slash produced a black halo that enveloped the old man's head. The Crescent Blade of the Soul Extermination Slash also slashed towards his head. Night Sorrow had overestimated his opponent. Originally, he executed the Soul Extermination Slash to disturb his opponent's soul spirit. However, his opponent was too weak. The Crescent Blade directly cut through the old man's soul spirit defense and cut into his divine sea. This was fatal. Moreover, Night Sorrow's space-splitting spear attack followed closely behind. Following the explosion, the old man's head was pierced through by Night Sorrow's space-splitting spear and exploded. A one-hit kill. Although the opponent was a heaven monarch, it didn't stop Night Sorrow's one-hit kill. Night Sorrow stretched out his left hand and used his energy to break the old man's left finger. He took the storage ring and waved the space-splitting spear. He then looked at the 2 heaven monarchs who destroyed his afterimages. The 2 heaven monarchs' faces changed. They held their weapons and looked at Night Sorrow. They were so shocked by the death of their companion that they forgot to attack. "If you delay my business for a day, I'll kill 1 person. Lu Yun, pack up. If anyone dares to attack us, call the patrols and let them deal with them." Night Sorrow returned to his stall with the Void Splitter Spear. "Yes." Lu Yun nodded. She was very excited. What was domineering? This was domineering. "Fellow Taoists, I'm still doing business. I'm here every day to receive everyone. I'll kill anyone who tries to stop me from doing business. As I said before, I'll kill 1 person for every day you delay my business. Just wait for me." Night Sorrow cupped his fists at the onlookers. No one moved, and Yang Yu did not give the order to attack. He did not dare to give the order to attack Night Sorrow. Because if Night Sorrow really called for the patrol team, then his men would be completely annihilated. The team that he personally brought with him was no match for the House of Azure Water's patrol team. If they could hold off 1 team, then a second team would quickly arrive. "Pack up and leave." Night Sorrow left the stall with Datura and Lu Yun. He walked very confidently, as if he was not there to do business, but to kill someone. Applause. Applause rang out in Treasure-Seeking Street. These stall owners had relatively low statuses and did not have any backing. Therefore, they were often suppressed and bullied. Now that Night Sorrow had made a move and made a strong counterattack, he had helped everyone vent their anger. Night Sorrow left with his wife and servants. The onlookers knew that this was the end of the day. Night Sorrow's stall was packed up. Yang Yu wanted to stop the customers, but he could not. His face had already fallen to the ground. The crowd dispersed, and Treasure-Seeking Street returned to normal. Jiang Yu, who was also in the restaurant opposite Night Sorrow's stall, turned her head to look at Gong Xian Yu and Yang Yu, then left with a smile. She had arranged for a large number of troops to be stationed at Treasure-Seeking Street today. If anyone attacked Night Sorrow, Night Sorrow would call the authorities and the patrols would immediately appear. Moreover, they would be very strong. This was also the reason why Gong Xianyu and Yang Yu did not continue to attack. They knew very well what was going on. After Night Sorrow left, the onlookers dispersed as well. The news was spread. Wu Fing smiled after hearing the report. Killing one a day. He has a very stubborn personality. There's no benefit in going against a cultivator of the body of merit. Emperor, the confrontation tomorrow will be even more intense. Sky Sun Prefecture and Guanyue Prefecture will not allow themselves to lose face. I wonder if Night Sorrow will be able to withstand it, said the man in black. He was Wu Fing's personal attendant, Duan Yu. He has made his voice heard, but whether or not he can stand still depends on his strength. Even if I want to help him, I can only help him resist the pressure from the higher-ups. He'll have to deal with those below the Emperor realm himself, said Wu Fing. He had his own principles. An imperial emperor also had his dignity and integrity. Duan Yu nodded. He also understood this principle. After Night Sorrow left, Yang Yu and Gong Xianyu also left. The two of them went to a tea house to drink tea and discuss how to deal with the situation. Both of them had lost face today. Q update V new fastest S XL, he's very strong. It's very difficult for an ordinary person to deal with him. We have to hire an expert to kill him, even if it's just crippling him, said Gong Xianyu. I'll bring my guard commander tomorrow. I don't believe we can't kill him. Let's consider him lucky today and let him live one more day. Yang Yu's face was gloomy. He was one of the young masters of Sky Sun Prefecture and could not afford to lose face like this. Gong Xianyu nodded. Then, he agreed to meet Yang Yu here tomorrow and left with Ghost Monkey. After leaving the tea house, Gong Xianyu looked at Ghost Monkey and asked, Ghost Monkey, how confident are you in defeating him? It's hard to say, but I'm confident in myself. Ghost Monkey nodded. I don't know if Yang Yu can do it. We have to be prepared. If Yang Yu can't do it, we'll take action. Gong Xianyu said. She had to plan for both sides. After strolling around the streets, Night Sorrow and the other two returned to the villa. Night Sorrow, that mansion for sale is not bad, but it costs 1,000,000 Saint Spirit stones. That price is too terrifying. Datura, you said. When the three of them were shopping, they saw a mansion for sale, but the price was exorbitant. 1,000,000 Saint Spirit stones. We can afford it, but we haven't established a firm foothold yet. It's not safe to pay such a high price, said Night Sorrow Yu. In order to establish a foothold in ethereal imperial city, wealth was one thing, but strength was also very important. Otherwise, it was normal to be killed or robbed. After resting for a night, Night Sorrow Yu and the other two went to treasure-seeking street again. Difficulties were in front of them, but Night Sorrow Yu was not a coward. It was his character to face difficulties head-on. There were many onlookers, even more than yesterday. The world of cultivators was like this. If something happened, it could not be hidden from others. No one stopped looking for Night Sorrow Yu to concoct pills or refine equipment just because his store was being suppressed. No one was afraid. The people from Sky Sun Prefecture and Moon Gazing Prefecture would at most expel them. If they dared to kill them, the Azure Water Prefecture would not tolerate it. Night Sorrow Yu's store opened. Just as everyone was waiting for Night Sorrow Yu to start his killing spree, there was a change. A rather dispirited young man appeared with a blade in his hand. Yang Yu's subordinates went to stop him, but the young man simply swung his blade. Blade light flashed across the sky, and those who tried to stop him were cut in half by the dispirited young man. Chapter 1553. The man's hair was disheveled, and his aura was dispirited. However, his aura was very strong, just like the sword in his hand. He was an 8-star king, but he could kill sovereigns. Night Sorrow could tell that he used his spirit to activate the sword, which was different from using the saber of destiny. You are courting death. How dare you kill my men? Yang Yu's body flashed and flew out of the restaurant opposite. He landed not far from the dispirited young man with his weapon out of its sheath. As the saying goes, a good dog doesn't block the way. If your men block the way, they should be killed. Since you dare to touch him, I will call the patrol team. Let's see if they will do anything. Night Sorrow walked out of the stall. The dispirited young man could be said to be helping him kill someone. He couldn't sit back and do nothing. Night Sorrow, I will kill you. I will. Hearing that Night Sorrow was going to call the patrol team, Yang Yu was so angry that his face turned green. However, he didn't dare to do anything. He thought that he was weak and didn't want to provoke the patrol team. If he wanted to kill someone, he had subordinates. This is not the first time you have said this. We will treat it as bullsh*t, brother, come here. Datura waved at the dispirited young man. I am still taking orders today. Let's see if anyone dares to stop me. Well, if anyone dares to stop me, I will kill one more and then close the stall. Night Sorrow glanced at Yang Yu and said. Me. At this time, someone shouted. Yang Yu could only stop them, but he couldn't kill them. Therefore, he couldn't scare them. However, at this time, a man in black swung his sword at Night Sorrow's back. He was a heaven monarch. When someone shouted that they wanted to refine something, Yang Yu gave his subordinate a look. He was in a dilemma. Instead of letting Night Sorrow make the first move, he might as well send someone to do it first. How dare you sneak and attack? Go to hell. Datura attacked with her hollow blade and directly used the death destruction slash. Right now, Datura's strength was different from before. After absorbing the essence left behind by Datura Chinensis, she had already surpassed the Heaven Monarch realm. A black light flashed and landed on the Heaven Monarch's body. The moment the Heaven Monarch lost his ability to react, Datura's hollow blade landed on his head. A single slash had the same effect as the dispirited man. The only difference was that the opponent he killed was of a different level. Night Sorrow said to Datura and the dispirited man, Aluo, it's about time for today. Let's go home and have some tea. Brothers, let's go together. If I can help you, I won't be stingy. Packing up and leaving, Night Sorrow's group left treasure-seeking street. The furious Yang Yu and Nangong Yu were left behind. They didn't expect Night Sorrow's wife to be so strong. Night Sorrow and the others left, and today's matter came to an end. Night Sorrow led the group into a restaurant and ordered a table of dishes. Brother, have a seat. Let's talk. What do you need my help with? Night Sorrow said to the dispirited man standing at the side. My sister was poisoned, so I came out of the vast wilderness to find a solution. I went to many places, but I don't have the resources and can't pay the price. Also, no one can cure the sky scorpion's poison, the dispirited man said. The sky scorpion's poison is harmful to the body. What level is the sky scorpion? Night Sorrow asked. He knew a little about the sky scorpion. It was a strange poison. It was fine if it was of a low level, but if it was of a high level, it was almost impossible to cure. It's not a high level, but it is a very rare blood sky scorpion. I wonder if Lord Night Sorrow can cure it. The dispirited man asked. I can try, but I don't know how effective it is. After all, I haven't seen your sister's condition, Night Sorrow said. Ji Dao pleads for your help, Lord. The dispirited man, Ji Dao, bowed to Night Sorrow. This is a colored glass pill. Its detoxification effect is not bad. You can try it. Here are 2 life spirit pills. It can help with recovery. Night Sorrow took out a few pills and handed them to Ji Dao. Thank you, Lord. Ji Dao will first send the pills back to the vast wilderness, then return. Ji Dao's life is yours. If Ji Dao doesn't return, I am willing to accept the wrath of the heavens. Ji Dao knelt on one knee and swore a heavenly oath. First. There's no need for that, you can go. Treating your sister's injuries is more important. Night Sorrow raised his arm and used energy to bind Ji Dao. Ji Dao has something on his mind. I have to leave now. Please forgive me, Lord. Ji Dao bowed to Night Sorrow. Go back quickly. This matter is urgent. Night Sorrow nodded to Ji Dao. Ji Dao then left. He was indeed in a hurry. This Ji Dao is very strong. He should be from a special race in the vast wilderness. Datura said. He has the quintessential energy cultivation of an 8-star sovereign king, but his soul power is at the heavenly monarch level. That's why he can easily kill a sovereign with his soul power, Yishang said. He was lucky to be able to meet young master and madam. Otherwise, without resources, how could he get the pills? Lu Yun said. Men need to have a sense of responsibility. They need to protect their family at all costs. This is worthy of respect. If you can help, then help. It is also a good karma. Who doesn't have a difficult time? Night Sorrow said. Helping Ji Dao cost him a few pills, but Night Sorrow didn't feel bad at all. He felt that it was worth it. Just based on what Ji Dao said, it was worth it. 1 or 2 pills are nothing to us, but to him, they are life-saving. It wasn't easy for him to travel across mountains and rivers to come out of the vast wilderness. Datura was also very emotional. After Yang Yu and Gong Xian Moon ransacked an inn, they began to discuss how to deal with Night Sorrow. Where is your guard commander? Can you not send trash to die? Don't you think it's embarrassing? This is a blow to our morale and boost others' prestige. Gong Xian Moon said as she tidied up her skirt. My guard commander went to do something and will be back in 2 days. This is not just my problem. You have to help too. Yang Yu said. I believe in you. You can definitely handle it. Isn't he just a bumpkin without any background? Gong Xian Moon glanced at Yang Yu and said. If it doesn't work, we can go to the Divine Devil Castle for a mission. If we really want to kill him, it will be as easy as squashing an ant. Yang Yu glanced at Gong Xian Moon and said. He didn't want to spend too much money. A mission in the Divine Devil Castle wasn't something that could be solved with just a few Saint Spirit stones. Then what do you think we should do now? Gong Xian Moon didn't want to embarrass herself anymore. She felt that she had lost all her face in the past 2 days. Go to his residence. Tonight, we will arrange for a few heavenly monarchs to kill him. Yang Yu spoke his mind. But the patrol team is a problem. Gong Xian Moon didn't want to break the rules of the ethereal imperial city. It was set by the battle emperor. It was an imperial edict, and the 7 prefecture lords were the executors. Chapter 1554. After Night Sorrow and the other 2 returned to the courtyard, Lu Yun cleaned up the courtyard and went to rest in the side room beside the gatehouse. Night Sorrow's courtyard was in the shape of a courtyard house. It was a courtyard house in a small garden. However, the small garden was not big. After all, it was just a small courtyard house. Datura and Night Sorrow stayed in the main room. At this time, Datura made tea and chatted with Night Sorrow. He asked about Night Sorrow's cultivation situation. Night Sorrow told Datura about his situation. With the help of the Haotian god Pagoda, Night Sorrow's cultivation and realm were rapidly increasing. The level of his battle intent was constantly deepening. In addition, he was deducing a few sub-attribute willpower. The void willpower was perfected. Night Sorrow began to combine the void willpower and battle intent to study the void world. It was a kind of heaven and earth trend. In addition, Night Sorrow's comprehension of the space-time willpower had reached the level of an 8-point monarch. In other words, he had comprehended the space-time willpower to 98%. He was just 2 points away from perfecting it and reaching the heaven monarch realm. There was a clerical error in the previous chapter. It was not an 8-star king but an 8-point monarch. The comprehension of the destruction willpower was also relatively smooth. With the support of time and the Haugyan god pagoda, the comprehension was very fast. You should seize the time to cultivate. Cultivate your highest achievement to the imperial realm. Then, your height will increase greatly, Datura said. I think so, too. Now, I have studied the combination of battle intent and the void willpower. Once the combination is complete, I will reach the half-step imperial realm. I can follow this path to reach the imperial realm. How about your situation? Now, I feel that you are no longer a heavenly monarch. Night Sorrow looked at Datura and asked. After I refined Datura Chinensis's source energy and fused with her source energy, I comprehended a new ability called the Death Domain. It is the embryonic form of the momentum of heaven and earth. When I completely comprehend it, it will become the momentum of heaven and earth. According to the current situation of the fusion, when I completely fuse with it, I will reach the Emperor realm. However, it will take a long time and there will be bottlenecks. After all, this is a breakthrough in the realm, Datura Chinura said. It's a good thing. This is all hope, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Then, since you have the yellow spring stone, can you comprehend the law of death and the will of death? Datura thought of another question. My original body has never stopped researching the will of nothingness and the will of spacetime. Now that I have the will of destruction, I don't have the energy to research anything else. The yellow spring stone is in this body of mine, so I don't know if I can comprehend it specifically. Night Sorrow shook his head. Yes, you have too many things now, and they are all high-end and top-notch. Let's put the death attribute aside for now. Datura nodded. Also, the two of us have to be careful. They can't do anything to us in treasure-seeking street during the day. They might use underhanded methods. We have to be careful. Assassination is possible, Night Sorrow said. That is a possibility. However, as long as they don't come to the Emperor realm, the two of us can handle it, Datura said. She was not only confident in herself, but also in Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow had killed a half-step Emperor realm expert twice. Lai Bing and Evil Bing were examples. There were also examples of killing an Emperor realm expert. The Magic Dragon General's clone had also fallen in the hands of Night Sorrow. Just as the two of them were talking, there was a commotion outside. Glancing at Datura, Night Sorrow reached out and pulled out the space-splitting spear. Ah Luo, help me restrain the opponent while protecting yourself. Don't go back today. At this moment, 4 heaven monarchs appeared around Night Sorrow's small courtyard. There were also 2 monarch realm experts outside. This was the strength that Yang Yu and Gong Xian could mobilize. In the celestial realm, there were very few Emperor realm experts. If one wanted to occupy a territory and become a king, he or she would be a warlord. There weren't many heaven monarchs either. Even people like Yang Yu and Gong Xian could only mobilize a limited amount of people. After all, not everyone could cultivate to the heaven monarch realm. One shot. There were many heaven monarchs in the Guanyue prefecture and the Tianyang prefecture, but they weren't people that the two of them could mobilize. This time, there were 4 people. 2 were with Yang Yu, 2 were with Gong Xian, and 1 of them was with Ghost Monkey. Because the courtyard was small, the array that Night Sorrow could set up was limited. Therefore, it was easily broken through. Yang Yu and Gong Xian also appeared in the small courtyard. Both of them were heaven monarchs. The 7 prefecture lords were all emperors. Their children's aptitudes were naturally not bad. In addition, they had unlimited resources. Therefore, it wasn't a problem for them to cultivate to the king or monarch realm. If they were lucky enough, they could become heaven monarchs. You really have no bottom line. Come on then. The energy on Knight Sorrow's body vibrated. The mystic yellow armor protected his back. Then, he waved the space-splitting spear and charged toward Yang Yu. Kill! Yang Yu also shouted. At this moment, the monarch realm experts outside the courtyard activated the arrayed disc. They activated the arrayed disc to cover up the battle here. They didn't want others to find out and patrol teams to come. Knight Sorrow wanted to kill Yang Yu. Naturally, Yang Yu and Gong Xian's men wouldn't just stand by and watch. They directly waved their weapons and charged toward Knight Sorrow. After using the afterimage body, Knight Sorrow's space-splitting spear stabbed toward a heaven monarch in front. With the improvement of his cultivation, Knight Sorrow's afterimage body had reached a level where it was hard to distinguish between the real and the fake. Seeing an opponent charging toward them, the heaven monarchs all waved their weapons to block. This allowed Knight Sorrow to easily approach the heaven monarch in front. If he wanted to kill Yang Yu, this heaven monarch would be an obstacle. Void to origin kill. Knight Sorrow attacked with the space-splitting spear and directly used the void to origin kill. Seeing Knight Sorrow attack, the heaven monarch attacked with the long sword in his hand. He stabbed toward Knight Sorrow's space-splitting spear. With a loud explosion, the tip of the heaven monarch's long sword was punctured. At the same time, his body was sent flying. Knight Sorrow's body shook and continued to charge forward. The space-splitting spear shook and turned into the void to extreme kill. Since the opponent had already come to kill him, Knight Sorrow didn't hold back and continuously used his killing moves. This spear was extremely fast. The right arm of the heaven monarch blocking the way was still numb. He could only endure the intense discomfort in his body and wave his sword to block Knight Sorrow's attack. However, everything was in vain. Knight Sorrow's space-splitting spear had an energy vibration and directly blocked the long sword that didn't have much energy. The space-splitting spear directly entered the heaven monarch's chest and abdomen. Then, a purple halo exploded and destroyed the heaven monarch's dantian from his chest to abdomen. In this heaven monarch's horrified eyes, Knight Sorrow's space-splitting spear pierced through the heaven monarch's forehead. After kicking the heaven monarch's corpse away, Knight Sorrow charged toward Yang Yu. Today, Knight Sorrow's main target was Yang Yu. If he didn't get rid of Yang Yu, trouble would continue to exist. Seeing Knight Sorrow kill his heaven monarch subordinate with just 2 moves, Yang Yu's expression changed. He waved his hand and asked another heaven monarch to stop Knight Sorrow. He drew his long sword and was ready to fight. During this period, Yang Yu hadn't fought. It wasn't that he wasn't strong enough. It was that he didn't want to fight with Knight Sorrow because he was the son of the Tianyang Prefecture Master. Chapter 1555. Besiege. At this moment, aside from the heaven monarch that was being held back by Datura, Ghost Monkey, and another heaven monarch charged towards Knight Sorrow. Yang Yu and Gong Xianyu also made their move. The 4 of them surrounded Knight Sorrow. Today is the day that you, a native, will pay the price for your blindness. Yang Yu brandished a sword aura towards Knight Sorrow. Perhaps you are right. Today is the day that you will pay the price. However, perhaps you will be the one to pay the price for your arrogance. Knight Sorrow's body flashed as he dodged the besiegement. He then brandished his space-splitter spear and charged towards Yang Yu. Knight Sorrow's main target was Yang Yu. Normally, Knight Sorrow would kill Gong Xianyu first. However, Gong Xianyu was a woman, and Knight Sorrow had not reached the point where he had to capture and kill a woman. Therefore, Yang Yu became his first target. Yang Yu was the son of an Imperial Realm expert. The consequences of killing him were very serious. However, Night Sorrow could not bear it. He had to kill him first. As for the consequences, he would deal with it later. Yang Yu brandished his sword and attacked Night Sorrow. He then quickly retreated. He had seen the strength of Night Sorrow's attacks. Therefore, he did not want to clash head-on with Night Sorrow. Since he had decided to kill, Night Sorrow would not hold back. He also would not be soft-hearted. The Space Splitter Spear executed the Great Emperor Samsara slash. At the same time, the Space Splitter Spear was unleashed. It slashed towards the back and blocked the attacks of Gong Xianyu and the others. Then, the soul-extinguishing slash was sent towards Yang Yu. However, Gong Xian's speed was extremely fast. His figure flashed twice, crossing the spatial rift's blockade. Then, he slashed his sword at Night Sorrow's waist. Seeing that Gong Xian had taken the initiative to attack, Yang Yu stopped retreating and rushed forward. At the same time, a red light appeared on his head, blocking the halo produced by Night Sorrow's Emperor Samsara slash. Then, he unsheathed his sword to meet Night Sorrow's Space Splitter Spear. At this moment, he felt that this was an opportunity. An opportunity to kill Night Sorrow together with Gong Xian. Night Sorrow understood that Yang Yu had a soul defense treasure. Although his absolute art had no effect on the soul, its effect on spacetime was still there. Yang Yu's speed was obviously much slower. Night Sorrow did not dodge Gong Xianyu's sword attack. Instead, he kicked out with his right leg. His target was Gong Xianyu's dantian. The Space Splitter Spear continued forward. It was the nihility returning to origin. Gong Xianyu's sword erupted with an intense light. Then, it stabbed towards Night Sorrow's waist. Die! However, Gong Xianyu's sword did not pierce Night Sorrow's waist. Gong Xianyu's sword did not pierce through. The defense of Night Sorrow's mysterious yellow armor was not something that Gong Xianyu could break through. As for the small amount of sword chi that had pierced through, it was nothing compared to Night Sorrow's virtuous immortal body's defense. However, at this moment, Night Sorrow's attack arrived. His right leg was like a giant axe as it chopped down on Gong Xianyu's chest. Night Sorrow's kick was so powerful that Gong Xianyu looked as if he had been hit by a giant beast. His originally proud pair of surging breasts were smashed flat. His entire chest caved in, and his dantian's true chi was scattered. He had no power to fight back. Seeing Gong Xianyu fly backwards, Ghost Monkey's expression changed. He no longer cared about attacking Night Sorrow. His body flashed as he grabbed Gong Xianyu's body and rushed out of the courtyard. He knew that this was impossible. He understood Gong Xianyu's strength. Not only had he failed to break through Night Sorrow's defense, but he had also been kicked out of the courtyard by Night Sorrow. How could he continue fighting? If Night Sorrow grabbed Gong Xianyu and killed Gong Xianyu, then Gong Xianyu would definitely die. 6 heaven monarchs had come tonight. Night Sorrow had killed one of them. Gong Xianyu and Ghost Monkey had retreated from the battle. Datura was suppressing another heaven monarch. If it wasn't for his strong soul spirit defense, he would have been a corpse by now. Only Yang Yu and another heaven monarch were left. These were the opponents that Night Sorrow had to face. After crippling Gong Xianyu with a kick, Night Sorrow used the Void Return to Origin kill with his Space Splitter Spear and attacked Yang Yu. Gong Xianyu's defeat shocked Yang Yu. At this moment, he was facing Night Sorrow's Space Splitter Spear attack. It was too late for him to retreat. He could only continue to attack Night Sorrow with his sword. If you think I'm easy to bully, then go to hell. Night Sorrow didn't care about the other heaven monarch attacking his back. He moved his Space Splitter Spear down by 1 foot, dodging Yang Yu's sword, and stabbed towards Yang Yu's dantian. Yang Yu's face was filled with fear. At this moment, he remembered that Gong Xianyu's full-strength sword attack couldn't hurt Night Sorrow. Therefore, Night Sorrow didn't need to worry about the damage of his sword. What about him? If he was hit, he would definitely die. In a panic, Yang Yu pressed his sword down with his right hand and grabbed Night Sorrow's space splitter spear with his left hand. He grabbed it. Yang Yu's sword didn't suppress Night Sorrow's space splitter spear, but it still slowed down the spear. Therefore, his left hand successfully grabbed the space splitter spear. Night Sorrow's right hand burst with energy. The spear light shot out and rushed towards Yang Yu's dantian. Then, he used his left hand to attack Yang Yu's head with oscillating fist. Faster $nu Q fastest I up FW. At this time, Yang Yu's subordinate, the Heavenly Monarch, also stabbed Night Sorrow's back. Although it didn't pierce through Night Sorrow's defense, the force pushed Night Sorrow forward. This force pushed the space splitter spear forward another half a foot. Night Sorrow's body and Yang Yu's body were already very close. Bang! Night Sorrow's left fist landed on Yang Yu's head. However, Yang Yu's Divine Sea's defensive treasure was very powerful. Not only could it block soul attacks, it could also block material attacks. It also blocked Night Sorrow's punch and didn't let Yang Yu's head explode. So what if it didn't explode? Night Sorrow's violent punch shook Yang Yu until he was bleeding from his 7 orifices. Naturally, his hands, which were controlling Night Sorrow's space splitter spear, lost their strength. Night Sorrow's space splitter spear instantly pierced Yang Yu's dantian and then exploded with energy. With his dantian broken and his cultivation destroyed, Yang Yu woke up. However, he was faced with Night Sorrow's left fist again. Like a watermelon, without Yang Yu's self-activated defensive treasure, it lost its power and could no longer protect Yang Yu. Yang Yu's head was directly smashed. A red bead appeared in front of Night Sorrow's eyes. Night Sorrow casually scooped up the red bead and shot back with his spear. Yang Yu's subordinate, who was constantly attacking him like a chick eating rice, was sent flying. At this time, Datura also killed his opponent. After killing his opponent, Datura flew into the air and slashed with his hollow blade. The blade light enveloped the Heavenly Monarch, who was beaten back by Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow didn't join forces with Datura to attack this Heavenly Monarch. Instead, he put away Yang Yu's storage ring and weapon and then watched Datura's battle. After 2 consecutive slashes, Datura shocked his opponent to the point that he couldn't resist. Then, he used the Great Death Destruction slash and killed this Heavenly Monarch with 1 slash. He didn't even have a chance to escape. 6 Heavenly Monarchs came, and 4 of them died. Only Ghost Monkey escaped with Gong Xianyu. At this time, the patrol team arrived. It was led by a Heavenly Monarch. They directly took control of the team that Yang Yu and Gong Xianyu brought over outside the courtyard. Night Sorrow and Datura also came out. Chapter 1556. Lord Heavenly Monarch, this is my courtyard. Just now, Guanyu Prefecture's Young Prefecture Lord Gong Xianyu and Tianyang Prefecture's Young Prefecture Lord Yang Yu brought people here to attack us, Night Sorrow said. It's Night Heaven Master. I just recognized you. Young Mistress told me to focus on patrolling this area. I was careless. The Heavenly Monarch leading the team cupped his hands at Night Sorrow. He was still angry because he had dealt with the 2 sovereigns who refused to be captured. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, he recognized Night Sorrow. When Guanyu Prefecture and Tianyang Prefecture were mentioned, he also thought of Night Sorrow. This matter had caused quite a stir. It's nothing. Thank you for your hard work, Lord Heavenly Monarch, Night Sorrow said. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, what's the situation? The Heavenly Monarch asked. He was the patrol captain of Guanyu Prefecture, Jiangmu. 6 Heavenly Monarchs came. Only Gong Xianyu and Ghost Marquis escaped, Night Sorrow said. Yang Yu. Yang Yu is dead. Jiang Mu was shocked. Yes, he's dead. Night Sorrow nodded. Jiang Mu exhaled. This was a big deal. The prefecture lord's son had been killed. This had not happened for many years. Recently, it had happened one after another. Not long ago, the Dark Shadow Prefecture's young prefecture lord was killed. This was another one. The situation is a little serious. Be careful, Night Heaven Master. I have to go back and report. Jiang Mu cupped his hands at Night Sorrow and left with the captured people. Night Sorrow and Datura returned to the prefecture. Lu Yun looked at the two in shock because there were 4 corpses in the courtyard. They were all heavenly monarchs. Night Sorrow, we have to make plans to escape. Haha. But it's fine. Killing Yang Yu can be considered as venting our anger, Datura said. Night Sorrow nodded. It's a clone, but this loss will make him furious. Perhaps the Heavenly Sun Prefecture Master will step in. Young Master, isn't there a rule in Ethereal Imperial City? They can't do as they please, right? Lu Yun looked at Night Sorrow and said. Rules need to be obeyed, but they are also meant to be broken. If the Heavenly Sun Prefecture Master were to take action against us, it would be like a sudden clap of thunder. The patrols wouldn't even be able to catch a shadow of him, so it would be pointless to be killed by him. Night Sorrow shook his head. Night Sorrow, what do you think we should do? If it doesn't work, we'll leave. It's not too late to leave now. Datura also knew the seriousness of the matter. But even so, he still had to do what he had to do. As a cultivator, he could not allow his dignity to be trampled on. Treasure-seeking street. Let's go to treasure-seeking street now. There are many people there, but it's unrealistic for anyone to attack us without anyone noticing. Would the Heavenly Sun Prefecture Master dare to break the rules of the Ethereal Battle Monarch in public? I don't think he would dare, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a moment. After making the decision, Night Sorrow and the other 2 went directly to Treasure-Seeking Street. There was a back hall in Treasure-Seeking Street where one could rest. Many of the stalls were their homes. Night Sorrow and the other 2 had calmed down, but the trouble they had caused was too big. When the seriously injured Gong Xianyu returned to his residence, Guanyue Prefecture Master Gong Yufan knew about it. Gong Xianyu was in a dispirited state. His cultivation had almost been destroyed by Night Sorrow's kick. Although his dantian had not been shattered, he was still seriously injured. Seeing the injured Gong Xianyu, Gong Yufan's face was filled with anger. He waved his hand and slapped Ghost Monkey. What are you doing? Is this how you protect the young miss? Prefecture Master, the opponent was too strong. We sent 6 heavenly monarchs. Perhaps only the young miss and I managed to escape, Ghost Monkey said after he regained his footing. Tell me the details. Gong Yufan glared at Ghost Monkey. Ghost Monkey bowed and explained the situation. Go and investigate the situation. See how that brat Yang Yu is doing. Gong Yufan instructed Ghost Monkey. He wanted to vent his anger, but he was not brainless. As one of the 7 prefecture masters, Gong Yufan was very smart. Guanyue Prefecture was fine, but Tianyang Prefecture was in an uproar. Yang Yu's original body went to find his father, Yang Tianlai, and asked him to seek justice for him. Are you stupid? Why wouldn't you let others do this? I already warned you that there are no good people in Guanyue Prefecture. You still wanted to mix with that fickle woman. Serves you right. Yang Tianlai scolded. Yang Yu, who was scolded, did not say anything. He never expected that he and Gong Xianyu would be killed so miserably when they went to kill Night Sorrow with 4 heavenly monarchs. Stay at home. Don't go out. Yang Tianlai glared at Yang Yu and left. According to Yang Yu, Yang Tianlai arrived at Night Sorrow's residence. After checking that there was no one there, Yang Tianlai knew that Night Sorrow had left. He was here to kill. The place was not crowded, and he was a great emperor. If he wanted to kill someone, he could leave. The patrols would not be able to see him. Now that Night Sorrow was not here, Yang Tianlai knew that Night Sorrow had already thought of this step. Yang Tianlai arrived at treasure-seeking street, but things would not end here. Yang Tianlai arrived at Night Sorrow's stall. Even at night, treasure-seeking street was filled with feasting and revelry, but it could not hide his aura. Get out here! Yang Tianlai shouted when he arrived at Night Sorrow's stall. Night Sorrow and Datura were drinking tea in the back hall when Yang Tianlai arrived. At the same time, Duan Yu secretly crushed Wu Feng's messaging crystal. Hearing Yang Tianlai's shout, Night Sorrow walked out. Shouting and shouting. Is it very impressive? You dare to kill this seat's son. You will die. Yang Tianlai's eyes were filled with coldness. Your son would say the same thing, but he is dead. Arrogant. What right do you have to be so arrogant? With your cultivation and status. If you were the owner of Ethereal Dynasty, or if you were stronger than Ethereal Battle Emperor, then you would have no problem. But can you do it now? Night Sorrow replied indifferently. Night Sorrow's words were harsh. If Yang Tianlai dared to say anything, it would be a great disrespect to Ethereal Battle Emperor. The consequences would be severe. Ethereal Battle Emperor stood at the pinnacle of all cultivators. He was number 1 on the celestial demon list. His dignity could not be blasphemed. Yang Tianlai did not dare. You are just an outsider. How dare you order our ethereal dynasty around? Yang Tianlai's killing intent was getting stronger. I am an outsider in your eyes, but you are trash in my eyes. A crooked stick will have a crooked shadow. You are not a good person either. If you want to fight, then go ahead. I don't care. It is just a clone. I can use my clone to fight you until you are punished by the rules of Ethereal Imperial City. Night Sorrow said. He was not afraid of Yang Tianlai. Because you are an outsider, there are some things that you do not understand. You will understand after you die today. Lord Battle Emperor, I, Yang Tianlai, will kill someone today. It is not that I am disrespectful to you, but I will ask for your forgiveness after this. Yang Tianlai took out a crystal ball and recorded his words. Then, he kept the crystal ball and looked at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was a little stunned. He did not expect Yang Tianlai to be so playful. Chapter 1557. A8 Free Small T, say Monarch Wu Feng wants to interfere in this matter. Yang Tianlai turned to look at Wu Feng. Yes, I owe him a favor. As for your conflict, he's a heavenly monarch. The Heavenly Sun Prefecture's heavenly monarchs can do whatever they want, even if they want to kill me. If he can't survive, it's his own fault. However, if you want to interfere, it won't make sense, right? Wu Feng didn't beat around the bush and directly expressed his attitude. Is there room for negotiation? Yang Tianlai asked. There's no room for negotiation. Wu Feng shook his head and also answered with 3 words. Yang Tianlai didn't say anything else to Wu Feng. He glanced at Night Sorrow and left. You've got guts, brat. Then, go to the blood battle stage and accept my challenge. Night Sorrow thanks Brother Wu Feng. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Wu Feng. Brat, how did you provoke him? Wu Feng shook his head with a smile. I killed his son. I don't know if it was his true body or a clone, but he came looking for me. Night Sorrow told him the reason Yang Tianlai had come looking for trouble. You killed his son. When did that happen? Make me a pot of tea first and we'll talk. Wu-Fing was stunned for a moment after hearing Night Sorrow's words. Datura made the tea. Night Sorrow invited Wu-Fing to sit down and then told him about the attack on the villa tonight. You killed him well. Since that old fellow came looking for trouble, I'll do my best to help you block him. If I can't block him, then we'll talk about it, Wu-Fing said. I didn't expect things to be so serious that even the rules are useless, Night Sorrow said. Things had really exceeded his expectations. The 7 prefecture lords are the administrators of the ethereal empire and subordinates of the ethereal battle emperor. They have to maintain the order set by the battle emperor, but they can talk to the battle emperor. All they did was kill a heavenly monarch and ask for forgiveness. It's not a big deal, Wu-Fing said to Night Sorrow. I was too simple-minded and brought trouble to Brother Wu-Fing, Night Sorrow said apologetically. Young Tianlai is easy to deal with, but Old Gong is hard to deal with. He's Emperor Scheming, one of the 7 prefecture lords of the ethereal empire. He's the most difficult to deal with. He doesn't even use his blade to kill. Hence, he's expanding his influence and snatching talents from other prefecture lords' territories. None of the other prefecture lords are willing to offend him, Wu-Fing said. That Gong Xian was severely injured by me. I'm guessing that he's already made up his mind. The other party won't give up, Night Sorrow said. Let's take a look at the situation first. If it doesn't work out, I'll send you to a friend of mine and work for her army. Young Tianlai and Old Gong won't be able to touch you, Edgeless said. Afterward, Edgeless told Night Sorrow that he knew one of the 7 prefecture lords, Prefecture Lord Songning. Prefecture Lord Songning used to be the ethereal battle emperor's close follower and sister. Her strength was shocking. Now, she was the #1 prefecture lord among the 7 prefecture lords. She controlled the Songning army, which was above the city's patrol team. With your strength, you can go to the Songning army and become a captain. But that's for later. Let's see what those 2 old men have up their sleeves, Edgeless said. Thank you, Brother Wu-Fing. There's nothing to thank. This is wine from my hometown. It was brewed by my wife. Night Sorrow took out a bottle of green blood wine. Don't be so polite. When we do things, it's all about fate. You're just like me in the past. But you're much stronger than me. You have to try good wine, Seamless said with a smile. After drinking the green blood wine, Night Sorrow took out a few jars of wine for Wu-Fing. One of them was dragon root wine. The dragon root wine had been brewed by Qing Ji from the 5-clawed pterodactyl's corpse that Night Sorrow had obtained in the 9 realms world. If someone with a low cultivation base drank it, it would have other effects. If someone with a high cultivation base drank it, it would replenish their blood qi, and it would only be a small amount. I'll take it. As long as you give me good wine, I'll take it, Wu-Fing said. Brother Wu-Fing, I'll work hard. When my cultivation is higher, I'll find a way to solve your problem, Night Sorrow said to Wu-Fing. Oh, I would have forgotten about that if you didn't mention it. It's doable. Work hard. Wu-Fing patted Night Sorrow's shoulder and tossed him a messaging crystal before leaving. Duan Yu followed Wu-Fing to a secluded place. Keep an eye on this place. Send some people to his residence as well. If a great emperor cultivator appears, call me, Wu-Fing said. Although he had left a message crystal for Yishang, he was worried that Yishang would be too stubborn to bother him if something happened. This subordinate understands. This fellow is a troublemaker. He probably won't hold back. There will be more. Duan Yu already knew that Night Sorrow had killed Yang Yu. He had learned about it when Wu-Fing and Night Sorrow were chatting. Night Sorrow, this brother of yours is very impressive. That young Tianlai didn't even flare up and immediately retreated, Datura, who was drinking tea with Night Sorrow in a stall, said. Strength. Brother Wu-Fing is very strong. Young Tianlai clearly couldn't contend against you. Besides, he was in the wrong and had no choice but to retreat. This also shows how domineering Brother Wufing is. Knight Sorrow nodded. Young master, this is a big favor, Lu Yun said. No, it's not a favor. Brother Wufing helped me without asking for anything in return. I also don't feel like I owe anyone a favor. As long as Brother Wufing needs it, I will do it if I can, Knight Sorrow said. Lu Yun was stunned. Knight Sorrow's philosophy was indeed very strange. At the same time, Duan Yu, who was passing by Knight Sorrow's shop, was also stunned. He didn't expect Knight Sorrow to have such thoughts. However, this idea was very much to his liking. He also understood that Wufing was right to help Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow, you still have to be careful. When young Tianlai left, he mentioned something about the blood battle arena. I don't think it's anything good, Datura said. I know about the blood battle arena. In fact, it's a place to settle grudges. Although martial arts are prohibited in the city, grudges still have to be settled. The blood battle arena is a place to fight to the death. It's also a place where many ruthless people train themselves. Once they enter, they will have to fight to the death, Knight Sorrow said. It's very dangerous. Datura looked at Knight Sorrow. She wanted to know Knight Sorrow's decision. The blood battle arena can't be forced. If you want to fight, then fight. If you don't want to, then don't fight. However, if someone asks you to fight, it's very embarrassing not to fight, Knight Sorrow looked at Datura and said. That's fine. Let's see how they come. With Brother Wufing's help, they won't be able to use some of their methods. We don't have to be too afraid. If it's not possible, then don't fight. Can they still bite? Datura said. Yes, we're not afraid of heaven monarchs. If it's an imperial realm expert, then we won't fight. Besides, if an imperial realm expert asks King to fight in the blood battle arena, their faces will be smashed to the ground, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Very good. How comfortable. We killed a few people and still have nothing to do, Datura said with a smile. Chapter 1558. You fought a lot. This treasure is suitable for you. Don't give it to me, said Datura. During the battle in the courtyard, Datura had witnessed Yang Yu's defense. She knew the power of this red bead. Not only could it defend against soul attacks, but it was also effective against material attacks. Thus, she wanted to leave it for Knight Sorrow. My soul defense is unbreakable. You should know this. So, it's suitable for you. Don't decline. Knight Sorrow didn't make it too obvious. The walls had ears, and the 9 regions origin bead was his greatest trump card. That's true. I'll keep it then. Datura smiled. She had delayed it because she was worried about Knight Sorrow. Now that she had calmed down, she thought of Knight Sorrow's soul defense. It was the protection of the world's origin. Some defensive treasures simply couldn't compare. Knight Sorrow also had another soul defense treasure. It was the cyan jade bracelet he had obtained from Shadow Manor's young manor lord, Luo Fei. Perhaps its level was slightly lower than Yang Yu's red bead. Back then, Luo Fei had still been affected by his lost technique. Of course, it was also related to his own cultivation. Before obtaining Yang Yu's protective pearl, Knight Sorrow had planned to give the cyan jade bracelet to Datura. Because of that, he had forgotten to give it to her because he had too many things to do. Now, Knight Sorrow planned to give it to his main body. Or rather, when his main body fought, he would use the origin bead and give the cyan jade bracelet to his clone. After all, Knight Sorrow lacked a soul defense treasure. Datura went to the back hall to refine the red bead. Knight Sorrow told Lu Yun to look after the stall. He also went to the back hall. Then, he called Datura, who was about to meditate, to enter the 8-dragon cauldron. "This spatial treasure of yours isn't bad either," said Datura. "I refined it some time ago. Now, it has a spatial acceleration effect of 10 times. It's also an amazing treasure," said Night Sorrow with a smile. After that, Night Sorrow and Datura went to refine the soul defense treasure. However, it was somewhat troublesome. The original owner of the treasure was still alive. Regardless of whether it was the original body or the clone, their soul imprints were still inside the treasure. It was very difficult for a cultivator with a lower cultivation base to break the soul imprint of a cultivator with a higher cultivation base. However, Yang Yu and Luo Fei's soul powers were obviously not comparable to Night Sorrow and Datura. Let alone being stronger than Night Sorrow and Datura, they were not even comparable. Soon, their soul imprints were broken one after another. At this moment, Luo Fei, who was meditating in a mansion within the Dark Shadow Mansion, opened his eyes. "Damn it, don't let me know your true identity." Luo Fei's eyes were bloodshot. He had lost his true body, which was a huge loss. That day, he had to attend a friend's birthday party. Both his true body and his clone had to go. His clone went to the party while his true body went to the City of Shadows. Unfortunately, his true body was killed. Luo Fei hated the fact that his true body was killed. Therefore, when he returned, he went to find his father, Luo Yuandao, for a divination. However, the divination told him that Killer Shang was a member of the Castle of Gods and Demons. However, Luo Fei knew that some people would meet again. If they were fated to meet again, they would not meet again. Although Luo Fei's true body was killed, some of his soul still existed. He was trying to fuse with his clone to see if there would be any changes. Even if there was a slight change, it would at least improve in the future. However, the chances of him entering the realm of Emperor were very slim. Luo Fei was already very angry. Now that he had lost contact with the jade bracelet, he knew that it had been refined. Therefore, he was especially furious. That green jade bracelet was a treasure of the heavenly Tao. It was formed from the green lotus of heavenly Tao. After being nourished by one's soul, it could continuously evolve. Luo Fei had not been in possession of it for very long. After refining the cyan jade bracelet, Yi Shang learned this information. He knew that this was a heavenly Tao treasure created by a rank 9 green lotus in a spatial world. There was still a lot of room for improvement. Luo Fei hadn't used its full power yet. This made Night Sorrow very happy. He stored the bracelet in his spiritual sea and nourished it with his soul energy. After Night Sorrow finished refining the bracelet, he brewed a pot of tea and waited for Datura. Datura took a long time to refine the red bead. It took him 6 days and 6 nights. It was as if an entire night had passed in the outside world. "How is it?" Night Sorrow asked. "Very powerful." "Do you know what it is?" "It's the blood-scale divine bead of the top divine beasts." "I didn't expect Yang Yu to have such a treasure," Datura said. "You mean it's the divine bead of the blood-scale divine bead of the same level as the golden dragon?" Night Sorrow asked in surprise. "Yes. I don't know where Yang Yu got it. This thing has a cause and effect. However, we didn't get it from the blood-scale tribe, so it's not a big problem. The big problem is who took it from the blood-scale tribe," Datura said. "That's good. We don't care about anything else. It's not like we stole it from the blood-scale tribe," Night Sorrow said. Datura nodded. She didn't need to worry about those things. Datura had erased the soul imprint that Yang Yu had left in the blood-scale divine bead. Yang Yu knew immediately. He was so angry that he smashed everything in his mansion into pieces. "What's wrong with you?" Yang Tianlai appeared in Yang Yu's mansion. 8p_forever 6 exempt /c phi y look, small equals say. Father, the blood scale divine bead's soul imprint was erased by those two bastards, Yang Yu said. Then we have to endure it for now. We'll deal with them when the time comes. Yang Tianlia's face looked terrible. He hadn't expected Wu Feng to show up. He couldn't afford to offend Wu Feng. Wu Feng was very powerful. Besides, there was one person he couldn't afford to offend, and that was Cangning Prefecture Lord. Father, can't you just kill him directly? Can you take the bead back? Yang Yu asked in confusion. If I can kill him, I will. I'll warn you again. Aren't the women in the mansion enough for you? If you dare to look for that slut again, I'll kill you. Yang Tianlai glared at his son. He knew what was going on in the moon-viewing mansion. Gong Yufan was good at scheming, so Yang Tianlai was afraid that he would be tricked. The 7 prefecture lords were all subordinates of the ethereal battle emperor, but they didn't get along well with each other. Each of them represented a family or a force, so there were conflicts. As the saying goes, where there are people, there will be conflicts. Yang Yu was a little stunned. He thought that if his father showed up, things would be resolved. He didn't expect things to be this bad. I'll set up the blood battle arena. I don't believe I can't kill him. Yang Tianlia's eyes were full of anger. It wasn't just because his son's clone had been killed and the blood scale divine bead had been stolen. It was also because Wu Feng didn't give him any face. If he had been a peacemaker, he could have accepted it. But Wu Feng stood on Night Sorrow's side and went against him. Chapter 1559. Gong Yufan had also received all the information, including the news of Yang Yu's clone's death and Wu Feng's appearance. Gong Yufan did not say anything after receiving the news. In the end, he sent people to continue gathering information. Father, Night Sorrow humiliated our Guanyue residents. Father, you must kill him. Gong Xianyu, who had recovered a little, said. What's the hurry? Yang Tianlai is the one who suffered the greatest loss this time. Let's see how he deals with it. Xianyu, you have to know that if you want to take revenge on someone, you don't have to kill him. You have to subdue him. Make him grovel at your feet and risk his life for you. That is revenge. Do you understand? Gong Yufan said to Gong Xianyu. Night Sorrow is a talent. He is very outstanding. However, I have tried many methods, but he refused to submit. Gong Xianyu said. She had a good impression of Night Sorrow, but Night Sorrow did not give her any face. That's because he is not skilled enough. Alright, let's settle this first. Yang Tianlia's son's clone has died. He has lost more face than us. Gong Yufan said. Fu. 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 Gong Xianyu did not say anything. She no longer had the ability to deal with Night Sorrow. However, she would not give up so easily. Night Sorrow's kick had shattered her face and dignity. At this moment, Wu Feng and a woman were sitting opposite each other in the hall of a luxurious residence. There was a chessboard between them. Wu Feng, you know the rules of the Cangning army. You can join, but you need to be strong. Without strength, you can't join. However, I have to give you face. He can come to my Cangning residence and find something to do. The woman sitting opposite Wu Feng said. The woman had a plump face and a voluptuous figure. Her eyes were filled with a sharp aura. She was the #1 Cangning of the ethereal dynasty. She was also the commander of the Cangning army. Cangning, you think too much. I treat that young man as a brother. You will only admire him when you see him. He is not here to make a living. Wu Feng said. You, Wu Feng, have never mentioned who you've taken a fancy to in all these years. Since you've taken a fancy to someone, sure, bring them over. Prefecture Lord Songning said with a smile. I didn't bring it here now. I just wanted to say hello to you, Wu Fing said. That's fine too. You can bring it over whenever you want. Songning's sovereign nodded. His smiling face was a stark contrast to his sharp eyes. Wu Fing stood up and saluted Songning, then left Songning's mansion. After leaving Night Sorrow's place, Edgeless helped Night Sorrow choose a path of retreat. After all, fighting to the death would not benefit Edgeless. Regardless of whether his subordinates were right or wrong, the ethereal battle emperor would always stand on their side first. He would only deal with internal affairs after dealing with external affairs. Shao Xing, arrange for someone to investigate this person called Night Sorrow. I want all his information. At that moment, a figure appeared. The figure nodded at him and left the manor. After refining the green lotus jade bracelet, Night Sorrow began to accept orders. This time, it was more peaceful and no one came to cause trouble. Many people knew what happened last night. Jiang Mu captured many people and naturally knew the result after interrogating them. After interrogating them, Zhanglan Manor did not hold back and directly killed all of them. Regardless of whether they were from Sky Sun Manor or Guanyue Manor, causing trouble in Zhanglan Manor's territory was already a slap to Zhanglan Manor's face. Jiang Tianheng was not a good-tempered person. Father, should we help Night Sorrow? He's a good person and very talented, Jiang Yu said to Jiang Tianheng in Zhanglan Manor. Baby girl, killing people from Sky Sun Manor and Guanyue Manor is equivalent to slapping them in the face. Night Sorrow killed Yang Tianlia's son. How can Yang Tianli let it go? Besides, there's still that old bastard Gong. His daughter was beaten so badly. He won't let it go. If we recruit Night Sorrow now, it's equivalent to not giving them face, Jiang Tianheng shook his head and said. Father, in fact, Gong Yufan has not given anyone face these years. He often comes to our territory to show off. Why is there a conflict? It's all because his promiscuous daughter came to our territory to seduce someone. After failing to succeed, she flew into a rage out of humiliation. That Yang Yu is a fool who only thinks with his lower body. In the end, his clone was destroyed, Jiang Yu said. I understand what you're saying. Let's observe the situation first. Silly girl, don't tell me you like him. I've already checked. He has a wife, Jiang Tianheng said. Father, what are you saying? I admire him very much. He's a friend and nothing else, Jiang Yu said. Okay, I understand. Don't worry. That Wu Fing is not someone who can be provoked. Yang Tianli can't do it, and Gong Yufan won't be stupid enough to rush up. There's going to be a lot of fun. Let's observe first. Jiang Tianheng said with a smile. He had many children. Most of them were busy cultivating or starting their own businesses. Only his youngest daughter was always by his side. Night Sorrow's business was still very prosperous because it was a gold-plated brand. The things he refined were good and the price was not expensive. In addition, everyone knew about Night Sorrow's matter. They all regarded Night Sorrow as their idol because no one dared to fight with the Seven Mansions. They were the forces of Emperor Realm cultivators. When Emperor Realm cultivators moved, the earth would tremble. With business good, Night Sorrow earned resources. In fact, he mainly focused on earning resources. He only sold 3 sets of materials and 1 set of finished products. He also continued to collect inheritances related to the 9th rank. However, on the 3rd day, someone came to Night Sorrow. It was someone from Sky Sun Manor. Night Sorrow, you think you're very impressive, don't you? Our Sky Sun Manor's Heaven Monarch has set up an arena in the Blood Battle Arena. If you think you can do it, then go. If you can't, then it means you're trash. After delivering the message, the messenger from Sky's Sun Manor turned and left. He had delivered the message according to Yang Tianlia's instructions. However, he was also afraid. Night Sorrow had even dared to kill their young mansion master, let alone a guard like him. Trouble still came, Datura said. This is not much trouble. Let's go and take a look. I don't know much about the rules of the blood battle arena. Night Sorrow said to Datura. Night Sorrow was not afraid of a Heaven Monarch Realm blood battle arena, but he had to understand it first. At this moment, in Cangning Manor, a girl called Xiao Xing handed a few pieces of paper to Cangning. After reading the information, Cangning blinked a few times. Tell everyone who comes in contact with this information not to leak it. Otherwise, they will be killed. Some of the information in Cangning's hands could not be spread. Chapter 1560. Cangning Manor's investigation ability was much better than Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan's. He had done 2 divinations. Although the divinations were interrupted when they reached the God-Fiend Castle, the results were more detailed. After taking another look at Night Sorrow's information, Cangning Manor fell into deep thought. Then, he shook his arm and turned the pieces of paper into ashes. Manor Lord, that guy's combat ability is strong. A few heavenly monarchs fell in his hands. In the last battle, he was even surrounded. Little Star bowed and said, "He is indeed very outstanding. His personality is also very good. Otherwise, Wu Fing wouldn't have valued him. Wu Fing is a troublesome person. If I accept him, it would be the same as not giving face to Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan. However, if I don't give him face, then so be it. It doesn't matter." Cangning Manor Lord said. Little Star didn't say anything. This wasn't the time for her to express her opinion. Send a scout over there. If there is any news, report back. I want to see what kind of person Gong Yufan can't rope in and was angered by, Cangning Manor Lord said. At this moment, Night Sorrow and Datura arrived at the blood battle arena. Night Sorrow found the staff of the blood battle arena to understand the situation there. The blood battle arena was set up by the ethereal battle emperor. It was a place to settle grudges and train cultivators. It was filled with blood and killing. To settle grudges, both parties would fight in the arena. They would fight to the death. However, if the challenged party didn't want to accept the challenge, there would be restrictions. If they didn't accept the challenge 3 times, it meant that they didn't have the courage and ability to cause trouble. Such people were considered trash. If the ethereal empire didn't keep them, they would be expelled. However, there was a time limit between the 3 challenges. The gap between the first and the third challenge was 30 years. These 30 years were the time and opportunity to fight back. However, there was an exception. If a person with a higher cultivation challenged a person with a lower cultivation and the person with a lower cultivation rejected the challenge, it wasn't within the rules. As for training, it was a bloody battle without grudges. The winner of such a battle would be the arena lord. The 10 arena lords would have a certain reward. In other words, after becoming the arena lord and not losing 10 battles, the blood battle arena would give out rewards. The rewards for Champion 100 were even more generous. The blood battle platform would give out a lot of rewards, and the City Lord Mansion would also give some special treatment. No one had obtained the Arena Lord of 1,000 Rings reward, but it still existed. The rules of the blood battle arena were very simple. It was a special arena, which could be said to be a beast cage. Once the 2 sides entered, they would fight inside, and no one could interfere. In the grudge mode, one would fight to the death, but in the training mode, one could surrender and admit defeat. After knowing the rules, Night Sorrow nodded. The rules were reasonable. Although a little cruel, it was also the best place to train one's strength and stimulate one's potential. It's like this. My name is Night Sorrow. I heard that someone set up a grudge ring to look for me, so I came to take a look, Night Sorrow said to the staff. The staff member glanced at Night Sorrow, then took out a booklet and flipped through it. It's about your grudge battle, but we haven't notified you yet. If you agree to this battle, then the battle will be held in 3 days. Didn't you explain in detail? Night Sorrow asked. Normally, when someone sends a grudge battle challenge, our blood battle platform will be responsible for notifying you and then checking your cultivation level. Since no one has informed you, then no one will tell you the situation. Now, let me tell you the details. The opponent is a heaven monarch, which is the same cultivation level as you. You can accept or reject, but if you reject, you can only reject twice in the next 30 years. If you reject 3 times, you will be expelled from the ethereal imperial city, the staff said. We are both heaven monarchs. I have no reason to reject. When will it be held in 3 days? Night Sorrow asked. If someone challenged him, he wouldn't back out. 3 days in the evening, but you have to come 2 hours in advance, the staff said. After understanding the situation, Night Sorrow and Datura left the blood battle platform and walked around the city. Then, Datura wanted to go to the Divine Devil Castle to take a look. She wanted to join because it was an opportunity. After all, the Divine Devil Castle had supreme-grade resources. Once she entered the Divine Devil Castle, she would have the opportunity to obtain these resources. Night Sorrow didn't object. After arriving, Night Sorrow waited in a tea house not far from the Divine Devil Castle. He didn't tell Datura about joining the Divine Devil Castle. After all, this was a secret, and it wasn't good to casually leak it. As for whether Datura could pass the test or not, Night Sorrow wasn't worried. He knew how strong Datura was. 4 hours later, Datura came out with a face full of excitement. She had passed the test. Congratulations, but there is a mission. You have to see how confident you are first. If you are confident, then accept it, Night Sorrow said. How did you know? Could it be? Datura looked at Night Sorrow with eyes full of doubt. Then, she understood. Through Night Sorrow's words, she naturally analyzed the result. Night Sorrow didn't say anything, and she also understood why. It was because of the rules. Night Sorrow and Datura returned to the courtyard. Night Sorrow, husband and wife are one. We are both from there, so it's not considered leaking the secret, Datura said. You are right, but it's better not to mention these things. Night Sorrow said. He felt that Datura's words were reasonable, but he still felt that it was better to avoid it. I understand. Husband is the best, Datura said with a smile. Aren't you the same? Night Sorrow said as he hugged Datura. Night Sorrow's life wasn't affected by the matter of the blood battle platform. His stall was receiving business every day. One day before the battle on the blood battle platform, Jiang Yu came. Night Sorrow, I've heard about the matter. I really can't help you now. If you are not confident, then refuse. There are many members of the Heavenly Sun Prefecture's subordinate forces in the blood battle platform. Their actual combat strength is not proportional to their actual cultivation. Why don't you refuse first? Jiang Yu said to Night Sorrow. Thank you, Miss Jiang. I understand the matter, but since they have declared war, there is no reason for me not to fight. If they want to kill, then I will accompany them. I will fight until they don't dare to challenge me, Night Sorrow said. Since you have already decided, I will go and cheer for you when the time comes. If they dare to play a grudge battle with you, then they must be prepared. You have to be careful, Jiang Yu reminded Night Sorrow. After sending Jiang Yu away, Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea. He knew what he would face next. It was either kill or be killed, but he was confident in himself. Chapter 1561. City Master Tsang Ning had received the news from his subordinate and came to take a look. She and Wu Fing were good friends, and she understood Wu Fing's personality. He wouldn't easily come in contact with anyone, let alone value someone. Therefore, she was curious and not here to observe. Even if Night Sorrow couldn't win, she would arrange a suitable place for him. There was no need for her to observe. Young Tian Lai came. He glanced at the highest pavilion before going to another place to watch. Today, one of his subordinates, a heavenly monarch, was going to fight. He was a heavenly monarch who used to be an assassin and was good at combat and killing. He felt that his combat experience was enough to deal with Night Sorrow. Many cultivators who entered the cage would have their aura suppressed. It would be good if they could exert 70% of their strength. Afterward, others came one after another. One could bet on the blood battle stage. It was also a casino that brought a lot of income to the Misty City Lord's mansion every day. It wasn't taxes because the blood battle stage belonged to the City Lord's mansion. First, someone stood in front of the cage and introduced this was a grudge match. He didn't say anything about the cause as there was no need to. He just gave a simple introduction of both sides. During the introduction, he said that Slaughter Sword Li Yuan had a 10-match winning streak in the blood battle stage. When he introduced Night Sorrow, he only said 5 words, blood battle stage beggar. Night Sorrow smiled. This was too direct and didn't give him any face. It was fine if he bragged a little. No one would bet on him, so he just wanted to make a profit. Then, it was time to place bets. Many people placed their bets. Night Sorrow realized that this was a place for the rich. They were rich and capricious. They casually placed bets of 100,000 or 200,000 Saint Crystals. However, they were all betting on Li Yuan's victory. Even if the odds were 3-1, no one would bet on Night Sorrow. In just a moment, Li Yuan's Saint Spirit Stones had reached 1.5 million. Can I bet on myself? Night Sorrow asked the staff member. Don't bet on yourself. That would be considered cheating, the staff member said. This was because many cultivators had cultivated clones. If they were to place a huge bet, they would be able to earn a huge sum of money. Night Sorrow took out a storage ring and handed it to the staff member. Of course, I'll bet a total of 1.5 million Saint Spirit Stones. If I want it, I'll bet 400,000 Saint Spirit Stones. That way, everyone will have something to eat. Night Sorrow put down 400,000 Saint Spirit Stones, the staff member said after checking Night Sorrow's storage ring. You have the life to lay down, but you don't have the life to spend it, said Li Yuan, who was exuding a murderous aura. Is that so? If that's the case, then none of us need to cultivate. Night Sorrow chuckled and ignored Li Yuan's words. Then I'll also bet 100,000. I admire confident people. Jiang Yu, who came with Jiang Tianheng, shouted. Jiang Tianheng still had a smile on his face. Although his daughter had offended someone, he still had to put on a smile. There were still people placing bets, but most of them favored Li Yuan. There were only a few who placed their bets on Night Sorrow. In the blood battle arena, one's achievements outside were not very convincing. In the blood battle arena, one had to fight for one's achievements. There were no rookies here. Li Yuan was able to achieve 10 consecutive victories, which spoke volumes. Night Sorrow killing Yang Yu's clone was nothing. Then I'll bet 200,000 on Night Sorrow winning. Wu Fing came. He was dressed in a green robe. Although he coughed from time to time with his left hand in front of his mouth, no one could ignore him. Then I'll also bet 200,000. A storage ring flew out from the highest pavilion. Everyone looked up, but they couldn't see anything. Bai Ding is a newcomer. Newcomers have to set sail. The voice came out from the pavilion again. After the people in the highest pavilion placed their bets, no one else placed their bets. They thought that they had no confidence. Although not many people placed their bets on Night Sorrow, they were all big bets. No one would go against a Saint Spirit stone. A gong sounded, and the cage opened. After entering, we'll decide who's better and who'll die. There are no other rules. The old man in charge of the blood battle arena walked out and said, "Li Yuan, the energy in this guy's body is not bad. If you win, I'll bet 100,000 Saint Spirit stones on his corpse." Gong Yufan, who hadn't placed his bets, said, "I'm an outsider, but I'm not afraid of trouble. Old man, are you trying to be ruthless and shameless with me?" Night Sorrow looked at Gong Yufan. "Ha! Young man, the waters in this world are very deep. You'll drown once you enter." Gong Yufan laughed. "You're not qualified to mess with my heart. Today, I'll be ruthless with you. 30,000 Saint Spirit stones to buy the list of all the heavenly monarchs in the Guanyue Prefecture. I'll only take 2 copies. Whoever has them can send them to the blood battle arena. I'll leave 60,000 Saint Spirit stones. From today onwards, as long as I'm alive, I'll take care of 1 heavenly monarch in the Guanyue Prefecture every day. After 30 years, all the heavenly monarchs in the Guanyue Prefecture will either be killed or expelled," Night Sorrow said coldly. If Night Sorrow accidentally enters the Arch Realm, I'll take over this job." Datura, who was standing beside Night Sorrow, said. Face slapping. This was a slap in the face. Gong Yufan was giving Night Sorrow a slap in the face. In addition, Night Sorrow's words and decision were very sharp. Why? If Night Sorrow could really do it, Gong Yufan would be the only prefecture lord left in the Guanyue Prefecture after 30 years. There wouldn't be any heavenly monarchs under his command. They would either be killed or expelled. The limit of 3 rejections was 30 years. If he was strong enough, he could definitely kill all the heavenly monarchs in the Guanyue Prefecture within a year. He would either be killed or rejected once. After 30 years, everything would be settled. Ha! How bold! Wufing clapped his hands. Someone whistled. No matter how strong Night Sorrow was, it was bold to say such words. All right, both parties enter. When the gong sounds, the battle will begin. The elder in charge of the blood battle stage waved his arm and allowed Li Yuan and Night Sorrow to enter. Li Yuan's body flashed and jumped into the battle cage. Night Sorrow turned around and looked at Datura. Then, his body flashed and entered the battle cage as well. At this moment, the elder in charge of the blood battle stage waved his arm. The battle cage's door was closed and locked with a black lock. The battle cage and the lock were made of special materials. They couldn't be opened from the inside. There was no escape. Night Sorrow waved his right hand, and the space-splitting spear appeared in his hand. He then waited for the gong to sound. At the same time, he sized up the battle cage. The interior of the battle cage wasn't small. It had a radius of 300 meters. Looking from the outside and inside gave off a completely different feeling. From the outside, it looked like a cage that was filled with a special aura. However, from the inside, one could feel the intense blood stench and aura suppression. This was the negative effect of the long years of bloody battles. Night Sorrow brandished the space-splitting spear. His body was bursting with battle intent. It was as though the battle intent was surging in all directions. The blood and black fog that was visible to the naked eye were all washed away. Chapter 1562. Those who were knowledgeable naturally knew what fighting intent represented. It was a key factor in entering the Emperor realm. Furthermore, it was rare to see someone like Night Sorrow who only had fighting intent and no killing intent. Many people couldn't understand how he had managed to cultivate it. On the other hand, Li Yuan was different. He also had a special intent realm, which was the most common killing intent in the blood battle arena. When the two of them looked at each other, a gong sounded. The battle had begun. The sound of this gong had a name in the blood battle platform. It was called the soul-seeking gong because it represented the fall of a person. As the gong sounded, Li Yuan's body soared into the air. The saber in his hand slashed towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow took a few steps back, distancing himself from the back of the cage. The space splitter spear pierced towards Li Yuan's saber. One couldn't get close to the edge of the cage because there were all kinds of barbs and sharp blades. The barbs and sharp blades were black-red in color. That was the color of dried blood. There were also black objects in some places. Those were the flesh and blood that had been pulled off by the sharp blades and barbs. If one's body was hit by the barbs, he would definitely be severely injured. The two weapons clashed. Night Sorrow took 2 steps back. Li Yuan was also repelled. After being repelled, he flipped his body and once again slashed towards Night Sorrow. After accumulating 10 undefeated battles in the blood battle arena, Li Yuan had already adapted to the aura inside the cage. This place had become his home ground. Li Yuan's saber skills were very violent. One slash after another slashed towards Night Sorrow. This was his ultimate move. The more he slashed, the stronger his aura would become until the opponent was defeated and killed. Li Yuan's consecutive slashes were released. However, his aura didn't accumulate because Night Sorrow hadn't been defeated. He blocked each slash without retreating a single step. Li Yuan would be pushed back a little after each slash. Then, he would attack again. This way, he wouldn't be able to accumulate his aura. In the blink of an eye, Li Yuan slashed out 100 times, but the result was still the same. Night Sorrow waved his spear to block. He was enjoying the feeling of being in the cage, because as the battle continued, the oppressive aura within the cage became more and more intense. It constantly attacked Night Sorrow and Li Yuan, and it was like a real killing intent. Night Sorrow didn't want to show off too much because he still had the mixed blood arena. If he directly killed his opponent, he wouldn't be able to play in the future. He didn't think much of Li Yuan. Li Yuan's advantage was that his body was stronger and his attacks were more powerful. If they were repelled by him, then they would have to be suppressed by his bloody battle 100 consecutive strikes. The more suppressed they were, the harder it would be for them to display their strength, and the result would be that they would be killed. After fighting for a while, Night Sorrow attacked. When Li Yuan slashed at him, he took 2 steps forward. His left hand turned into a claw and grabbed at Li Yuan's battle blade. Then, the space splitter spear was supported by the will of time and space to avoid Li Yuan's battle blade. He used the space-rotating dragon kill and stabbed at Li Yuan's dantian. Li Yuan thought that Night Sorrow would block his attack because if he didn't, he would accumulate his aura. He didn't think that Night Sorrow would change his move, and no one thought that Night Sorrow would use his left hand to block his battle blade. Night Sorrow's left hand grabbed Li Yuan's battle blade. Although it was shaken and bleeding, the space splitter spear in his right hand directly poured into Li Yuan's dantian. Then, it exploded and pierced Li Yuan's dantian. The scene froze. Night Sorrow was still standing there. His left hand that was holding Li Yuan's battle blade was dripping blood, but the space splitter spear in his right hand was nailed into Li Yuan's dantian. At this moment, Li Yuan, whose dantian had been pierced, was flailing his legs. However, he didn't have the energy to fight back, so he could only struggle. "Spare me. I won't do it again. I won't do it again." Li Yuan's eyes, which were originally filled with killing intent and ruthlessness, were now filled with fear and begging for mercy. "You entered the blood battle arena and issued a challenge. Are you not prepared to die? You can die in battle, but you can't live in humiliation. Night Sorrow's right hand shook and pulled out the space splitter spear. Then, he pierced Li Yuan's head and pierced his dantian. From beginning to end, Night Sorrow had only used one move to attack. He took the initiative to kill his opponent. With one side dead, the blood battle arena was over. The door to the cage opened, and Night Sorrow walked out after collecting his spoils. Palace Lord Gong is interested in the corpse. I'll give it to you, Night Sorrow called out to Gong Yufan. Gong Yufan stood up and pointed at Night Sorrow. Then, his angry face was replaced by a smile. Those who knew him well knew that he was really angry. Sir, if it's convenient, please settle the Saint Spirit stones. If anyone continues to issue me a challenge, I'll accept it. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at the old man who was in charge of the blood battle arena. All right. Men, bring out the winnings from the bets and send them to the distinguished guests. The old man in charge of the blood battle platform nodded at Yi Shang before instructing the staff of the blood battle platform. It was very efficient. In just a few moments, all the winners had received their winnings. Night Sorrow received 2 million Saint Spirit stones at most. Sir, here are 60,000 Saint Spirit stones. Someone sent the name list of the heavenly monarchs of the moon-gazing mansion. Please accept it for me. Night Sorrow took out a storage ring and handed it to the old man in charge of the blood battle arena. It's not a big deal. No problem. The old man in charge of the blood battle arena was surprised and then nodded. It wasn't a big deal, but he didn't expect Night Sorrow to be serious. It was a big deal. Not only was the old man in charge of the blood battle arena surprised, but the spectators were also shocked. Everyone thought that Night Sorrow was just trying to slap Gong Yufan in the face. Who would have thought that Night Sorrow was serious? Ah Luo, let's go. Let's find a restaurant and have a feast worth tens of thousands of Saint Spirit stones. It's not hard to earn Saint Spirit stones. Night Sorrow nodded at Datura. You have to call me brother for a feast worth tens of thousands of Saint Spirit stones. Wu Fing stood up and shouted. Then, he followed Night Sorrow out of the blood battle arena. Jiang Yu wanted to say something, but Jiang Tianheng pressed down on his shoulder. He didn't like Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan, but they were both prefecture lords. If they openly walked together with Yi Shang, it would be inappropriate, and it would be difficult to explain to the city lord's mansion. The blood battle arena was still going on, but the number of spectators had decreased. Night Sorrow and Li Yuan's battle was related to the reputation of the Heavenly Sun Prefecture, so more people came to watch. At this moment, in the highest pavilion, an old man handed over a storage ring and left. Prefecture Lord, that guy is really strong. He's ruthless to himself, said Xiao Xing, who was standing beside Song Ning. He's good at hiding his strength. The blood battle arena will be filled with bloodshed for a period of time. With Wu Fing protecting them and Wu Fing dragging me along, Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan won't be able to do anything. They'll have to face the next challenge. This is interesting. Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan can't blame anyone for being blind. There's a saying that one shouldn't bully a poor youth, Zhang Ning said as he watched Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan leave. Chapter 1563. Definitely, because he has the strength. He hid his true strength. Those who don't know him might not understand, but we have seen his information. His spear art is deep, his defense is strong, his soul spirit attack is sharp, and he has absolute arts. Today, he only showed a little of it. Very good. Our Zhongning Legion needs people like him. Let him play first. Zhongning Legion Lord stood up and left the pavilion. Night Sorrow, Datura, and Wu Fing found a high-class restaurant and ordered a feast. Ha! Brother, you are so domineering. Today was a great day for me, Wu Fing said with a smile. QL starter, if we follow the rules, I'm not afraid of them. The rules of the blood battle are good. The blood battle arena is also a good place. I like it there. Night Sorrow spoke his mind. He didn't hide anything from Wufing. Back then, I liked it too, but I haven't been there for many years. Wufing nodded. He felt that Night Sorrow was the same type of person as him. Although he didn't want to cause trouble and didn't want to get involved, he didn't want to fight and had a yearning. Brother Wufing, have you been to the blood battle arena before? Night Sorrow asked with surprise. Of course, I am one of the few arena champions. My mansion is the reward from the ethereal city's city lord residence for the arena champions. Wufing nodded. Arena champions. It's not easy. If your performance is too dazzling, no one will want to play with you. It will be difficult to achieve 100 victories, Night Sorrow said. Actually, the arena champions all came from your decision today. It is a personal declaration of war against a certain clan or faction. Only then can you achieve 100 victories easily. Normally, such a situation wouldn't happen. If you are strong, many people won't want to play with you. Besides, the grudge battle isn't something you can casually accept. You can't just point at someone and say you have a grudge against them. No one can cheat in the blood battle arena, Wufing said. Then my actions today should be a sufficient reason, right? Night Sorrow didn't expect there to be so many details. Of course. However, if the Heaven Monarch you challenge withdraws from the Guanyue Prefecture, then the grudge will not be established. However, no one will withdraw so easily. Wufing nodded. That's good. Gong Yufan showed up in front of so many people today to mess with my mental state. It's not unreasonable for me to declare war on him. What his daughter did is shameful, Night Sorrow said. The blood battle arena is a place to accumulate combat power, as well as experience. For example, if you're one of the 10 arena lords, you'll be valued by any power, even the city lord's mansion. If they were arena champions, they would all hold high positions in the city lord manor. Do you know why no one is willing to go against me? No one is willing to incur my wrath. That's because I can join the city lord's mansion at any time. It's not worth it to offend me, Wufing patiently explained to Night Sorrow. After listening to Edgeless' explanation, Night Sorrow understood that the blood battle arena wasn't just a place to accumulate combat strength. It was also a place for newcomers to rise. In addition, Wufing told Night Sorrow that the blood battle arena's rewards were very generous. It wasn't a scam, and everything was given to the person involved. Aside from the God-Fiend Castle, the blood battle arena was the best place to accumulate resources. However, it was accompanied by risks. In this world, even sleeping at home can lead to disaster. There's no place that's absolutely safe, Night Sorrow said. Wufing nodded. He admired Night Sorrow's attitude. In addition, he guessed that Night Sorrow might have joined the God-Fiend Castle. This was because when he mentioned the God-Fiend Castle, Night Sorrow didn't show any interest. According to Night Sorrow's personality, this shouldn't be the case. Thus, there was only one possibility. However, no one took the initiative to mention this topic. While drinking, Wufing looked at Night Sorrow. Brother, do you have any more of this wine? Night Sorrow looked at the wine jar in Wufing's hand. It was the wine jar that contained the dragonroot wine. You know that your brother's body has cold-yin energy. Although this wine isn't very effective, it's very comfortable. This wine really doesn't exist in the celestial realm, Wufing said. I still have a few jars here. Brother Wufing, take them all. Also, if you have the materials, my wife can brew more, Night Sorrow said. I'll get whatever materials you need. I'll have to trouble my sister-in-law when I get them. Wufing cupped his hands towards Datura. Brother Wufing, you misunderstand. Night Sorrow's wife can brew wine, not me, Datura said with a smile. Brother, you're awesome, Wu Fing said with a smile after being stunned for a moment. The materials used to brew this wine are special parts of special beasts. I reckon that dragon-tiger-type beasts, even if they're a side branch, will have a very strong effect, Night Sorrow said. Alright, that won't be difficult. I'll send it to you when it's done. Wu Fing nodded. After eating a table full of 20,000 Saint Spirit stones, Night Sorrow and Datura parted ways with Wu Fing. The two returned to their residence. Wu Fing told them that their residence should be fine. Haha. Yi Shang, why do I feel like my heart is very clear? This blood battle arena is so interesting. It's practically tailor-made for us. Datura was very excited. Night Sorrow nodded. He also liked the blood battle arena and its format. When Wu Fing returned to his residence, Duanyu reported the situation at Treasure Seeking Street to him. The people from Sky Sun Prefecture and Guanyue Prefecture were no longer there. He also mentioned the words he heard from Night Sorrow. It was about how Night Sorrow didn't owe Wu Fing any favors. Good. Wu Fing, this should be exactly what you want. Blue Moon Prefecture Lord arrived at Wu Fing's residence. Zhangyu, you're right. I like your temperament. Wu Fing stood up and invited Zhangyu to take a seat. Such a person, other than those with grudges, would be appreciated by others. Zhangyu poured herself a cup of tea from the teapot. Does that include you, Zhangyu? Wu Fing asked Zhangyu. Of course. Even if you didn't recommend him, I would still want him. The Zhangning army needs people like him. Zhangning nodded. Wu Fing smiled. Edgeless smiled. This was the effect he wanted. He's so similar to you back then. I'm just worried that he'll end up like you and refuse to join the Zhangning army, Zhangning said. Here we go again. Didn't I say that we're friends? As long as you and the Zhangning army need to fight, Wu Fing will help. Wu Fing said helplessly. I'm just worried. If there's a first, there'll be a second. It's both delightful and frustrating. I've decided that I won't repeat the same mistake. The aura in Zhangning's eyes became much sharper. I don't know if I was right to recommend him to you. Wu Fing sighed. He knew Zhangning very well. If she wanted to do something, she would definitely do it. Chapter 1564. Zhangning, I'd like to say a few words. There's nothing wrong with wanting him under your wing. You can do whatever you want, but don't force him. It won't do you any good, said Wu Fing. Not beneficial to me. That can't be. It seems there aren't many people who can tell me not to do anything. It won't do me any good. Zhangning frowned. She didn't like such words. Why are you frowning? I'm not threatening you. I'm just telling you the truth. Do you know the virtuous merit saint and the virtuous merit supreme sage? Edgeless asked. If you know what you're asking, how can I not know? Why are you saying all this? Don't tell me, he's a merit saint. Which realm is he from? Zhangning asked. Zhangning could not be blamed for being in a daze. Saints of merit and virtue were too rare. 1 in a billion would be hard to find. It's not the deluxe merit saint, it's the deluxe merit grand sage. You should know that you can't use force on people like this. They won't change their beliefs because of power. Young Tianlai and Gong Yufan are both giants in front of him, but is he afraid? Zhangning, you can't walk the same path as them, said Edgeless. Thank you for your reminder. Actually, you really don't have to worry. You know what kind of person I am. I have my own principles. Wu Fing, are you really not going to consider joining the City Lord's mansion? I can recommend you to the War Emperor. You can even become the Lord of a prefecture, Zhangning said. You're here again. Have some tea. Wu Fing changed the topic because he didn't want to be restricted. He could help Tsang Ning, but he didn't want to join the city lord's office. You're such a pain in the ass. Tsang Ning shook his head helplessly. Wu Feng smiled. He knew that Gong Yufan was the one with the biggest headache right now. Knight Sorrow wanted to challenge the Heaven Monarch of the Guanyu Prefecture. This was a ruthless move. If Knight Sorrow was an invincible Heaven Monarch, then the Guanyu Prefecture would be in trouble. They would either have to ask for external help or admit defeat and look for Knight Sorrow to compromise. No matter what, it would be extremely humiliating. After resting for a night, Knight Sorrow and Datura went to Treasure-Seeking Street to continue accepting alchemy business. Treasure-Seeking Street was extremely lively because someone had appeared out of nowhere from the crowd that represented the disadvantaged group and stood up for them. Knight Sorrow appeared with Datura and Lu Yun. They were greeted with applause. You've become everyone's idol. Jiang Yu appeared with a smile on her face. She was extremely happy that Knight Sorrow had killed Li Yuan. Do what you need to do. Nothing else matters. Knight Sorrow shook his head. After entering the store, Jiang Yu felt that it was a pity that he didn't get to eat a feast worth tens of thousands of Saint Spirit stones. Who told you not to go? What's the use of regretting now? Datura said. You think I don't want to go? My father didn't allow it. The House of Azure Water supports you, but we can't go against the Heavenly Sun Mansion and Guanyu Mansion. That would put my father in a difficult position and he wouldn't be able to explain himself to the City Lord Mansion, Jiang Yu said. I can understand. You really need to think about Mansion Lord Jiang. After all, the 7 Mansion Lords are colleagues, Knight Sorrow said. After a peaceful day, the staff of the Blood Battle platform came to Treasure-Seeking Street to look for Knight Sorrow and gave him 2 sets of information. It was the name list of the heavenly monarchs of the Guanyu Mansion. The name list was very detailed. After all, the Blood Battle platform wouldn't fool people. They would only take out the Saint Spirit stones that Knight Sorrow left behind if they thought the name list was suitable and accurate. The staff who sent the information also told Knight Sorrow that he had a battle tomorrow. It was a grudge battle. The Heavenly Sun Mansion's Heavenly Monarch Vulture wanted to challenge him. The Heavenly Monarch Vulture was a mutated demonic beast that had transformed into a human form. However, he didn't fight many times in the Blood Battle platform. Accept. There was no reason not to accept. Knight Sorrow told the staff of the Blood Battle platform that he accepted the challenge. In addition, Knight Sorrow chose the person who was closest to the top of the 2 lists. Help me arrange a battle with this person. After this grudge battle, I will challenge him. Okay, we will arrange the battle and inform him. We will also inform Lord if he accepts the challenge or not. The staff of the Blood Battle platform bowed to Knight Sorrow and left. After receiving the staff of the Blood Battle platform, Knight Sorrow continued to refine elixirs. Knight Sorrow didn't need to prepare anything for such a battle. He had already defeated the Arch-Realm cultivators. Why would he be worried about the battle with heavenly monarchs? Datura wasn't worried either. She knew her husband's strength. Heavenly monarchs and heavenly monarchs were nothing in front of Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow might be young, but he had killed his way out. He wasn't a flower in a greenhouse. A lot of forces were paying attention to Knight Sorrow's battle on the Blood Battle platform. When the announcement came out, many people knew about it. They didn't know Knight Sorrow and didn't know how strong Knight Sorrow was. They just wanted to see how far Knight Sorrow could go in the battle with Sky Sun Prefecture and Discerning Moon Prefecture. After all, Knight Sorrow had only displayed tyrannical strength in the previous battle. There were too many cultivators with strong strength. It didn't necessarily represent combat strength. Jiang Yu came to Knight Sorrow's place. She was more concerned about Knight Sorrow. As soon as there was news of Knight Sorrow's battle, she came over. Knight Sorrow, you don't have to accept it. There's no need to be angry. It's okay to reject a battle. Jiang Yu was afraid that Night Sorrow would do anything in a fit of anger. Do you trust me? If you do, then continue to bet on me. There's no need to consider anything else, Night Sorrow said. Okay, then I'll place my bet. Jiang Yu nodded. Ah Luo, here's 1,000,000 Saint Spirit stones. Place your bet before the end of the bet. Night Sorrow took out a storage ring and handed it to Datura. I have 1,000,000. I'll place my bet when the time comes. Datura smiled. Okay, we'll each place 1,000,000. If we win a few rounds, we'll get a luxurious mansion in Ethereal Imperial City. I like to breathe in fresh air, Night Sorrow said. I just realized that you two are robbers. Ethereal Imperial City is a graveyard for newbies. But from what I see, it's clearly your heaven, Jiang Yu said. Night Sorrow and Datura smiled. In fact, Night Sorrow's biggest weakness was that he didn't have a backer. He was afraid that others would bully him, just like how young Tianlai wanted to kill him. This was something he couldn't resist. He wasn't afraid of anything as long as cultivators stronger than him didn't make a move. After resting quietly for a night, just as Night Sorrow was about to go to the blood battle arena, Ji Dao appeared. Ji Dao greets Milord. Ji Dao is back. Seeing Night Sorrow, Ji Dao bowed. How's your sister? Night Sorrow asked. Milord's elixir is very effective. The poison has been removed. All that's left is to slowly nurse her body. There's no problem now, Ji Dao said. That's good. Let's go. Let's go watch me kill people today. Lu Yun, are you coming? Night Sorrow looked at Lu Yun. Yes, Lu Yun will cheer for young master. Lu Yun nodded. His eyes were full of vigor. Normally, a slave wasn't qualified to enter such a place. Let's go. Night Sorrow called for a beast carriage with a few people and went to the blood battle arena. Chapter 1565. There were seats for the contestants. Night Sorrow was led to a seat near the front row by the staff. I might be a regular here in the future. Can I trouble you to arrange a private room for the people I brought? We will pay for it ourselves. Night Sorrow said to the staff. Okay, we will reserve a room for you next time. The staff nodded. There were very few Emperor Realm cultivators at the blood battle stage. Usually, it was king and heavenly monarchs. Heavenly monarchs were the peak, so there were instructions from the higher-ups that the heavenly monarchs had to be humble. Of course, the staff of the blood battle stage were humble, but no one dared to bully or humiliate them. The consequences would be severe. At this time, the old man in charge of the blood battle stage began to introduce the contestants. Heavenly Monarch Vulture had fought 4 battles in the blood battle stage and won all 4 battles. He defeated his opponent in 15 minutes, which showed his strength. This time, there were more introductions for Night Sorrow. Not to mention that he was a newcomer, but because of his victory. After the introductions, it was time to place the bets. The odds were still 1 to 3 because Night Sorrow's victory didn't mean anything. In addition, Night Sorrow's performance in the previous battle wasn't dazzling. It was just that his last move was more ruthless. When the staff reminded that the betting time was about to end, Night Sorrow stood up. If I don't believe in myself, who else can I believe in? I will bet 1,000,000 Saint Spirit stones on myself to win. That's right. If I don't believe in my husband, who else can I believe in? I also have 1,000,000 on Night Sorrow. Datura also stood up. There was nothing the blood battle stage didn't dare to accept because many people had bet on Heavenly Monarch Vulture. There were 2 to 3 million scattered customers. Even if they lost, the blood battle stage could afford it. A few million Saint Spirit stones weren't much in the Misty Dynasty's City Lord Mansion, but here, 1,000,000 was the limit. Wufing and Songning placed 200,000 Saint Spirit stones. They were just casually placing a bet. After placing the bets, Knight Sorrow stood up and walked to the front of the cage. He didn't even pay attention to Heaven Lord Vulture. Knowing that Heavenly Lord Vulture was a member of Heavenly Sun Prefecture was enough. Whoever challenged him or wanted to kill him, he would kill them. It was that simple. This time, Gong Yufan didn't say anything. He knew Yi Shang's temper. If he stood up and spoke, Yi Shang wouldn't hesitate to slap him in the face. Therefore, there was no need to attack him verbally. He wouldn't be able to gain any advantage. Using actions was the best choice. Today, he had brought his sons and daughters to watch the bloody battle. Big sister, this is the person who hit me. Gong Xianyu looked at a woman sitting on the other side of Gong Yufan and said. The veiled woman turned her head and glanced at Gong Xianyu. You can tell father about this. He will support you. Xianing, what are you saying? Gong Yufan frowned. Did I say anything wrong? Father, take a look at what she's doing now. The veiled woman, who was Gong Xianing, said. That's enough. Gong Yufan interrupted his daughter. If she continued, he would be in the wrong. The cage opened and Heavenly Lord Vulture entered first. Then, Knight Sorrow entered. Knight Sorrow didn't fly in like Heavenly Lord Vulture. Instead, he walked in step by step. When he reached his position, he pulled out the space splitter spear with his right hand. As the Spirit Seeker bell rang, Heavenly Lord Vulture moved. His body flickered as he pounced towards Knight Sorrow. Why did Yang Tianlai choose Heavenly Lord Vulture? It was because he noticed that Knight Sorrow's body was tyrannical, so he chose a speed type. As soon as Sky Lord Vulture attacked, Knight Sorrow knew Sky Lord Vulture's type. His speed was strong, but speed was not his weakness. However, in order to make the battle go smoothly, Knight Sorrow felt that it was more appropriate to use strength to fight. Knight Sorrow used the Space Splitter Spear to block the opponent's attacks. He blocked Heavenly Lord Vulture outside and didn't give him a chance to attack. The sound of weapons clashing constantly rang out. Heavenly Lord Vulture's speed was fast, but he couldn't break through Knight Sorrow's spear technique. The main reason was that Heavenly Lord Vulture was forced back. Actually, this wasn't just a difference in strength. Knight Sorrow also had speed, but he used strength to cover it up. No matter how much Heavenly Lord Vulture's speed increased, it was useless. Datura smiled. She understood what Knight Sorrow meant. She knew that Knight Sorrow had the will of time and space and was extremely proficient in speed. Heavenly Lord Vulture's speed wasn't enough. Knight Sorrow did this to build a foundation for the battle to come. Everyone was thinking about whether speed would defeat strength. Was speed the only thing that couldn't be broken, or was strength the advantage? Most people couldn't think of a certainty. The battle was very intense. Knight Sorrow had been on the defense and didn't take the initiative to attack. The battle had been going on for close to 15 minutes. Knight Sorrow felt that it was about time to end it. After fighting for 15 minutes, it was enough to give people a subjective impression. Since he decided to end the battle, Knight Sorrow's fighting style changed. C_X When Heavenly Lord Vulture attacked Knight Sorrow again, Knight Sorrow's Space Splitter Spear didn't block. Instead, he dodged Heavenly Lord Vulture's sword and continued to stab towards Heavenly Lord Vulture's Dantian. Go die. Heavenly Lord Vulture thought that Knight Sorrow's speed couldn't keep up. He moved to the side and dodged the Space Splitter Spear's attack path. His sword continued to stab downwards at Knight Sorrow's chest. But at this time, Knight Sorrow raised his left hand. His left hand was filled with thick energy as he grabbed Heavenly Lord Vulture's sword. Following that, his right leg kicked towards Heavenly Lord Vulture's Dantian. Heavenly Lord Vulture was in a dilemma. If he retreated, he would have to abandon his sword. If he didn't retreat, he wouldn't be able to dodge Night Sorrow's kick. He couldn't retreat. Without a weapon, he was like a beggar without a stick. A short knife appeared in Heavenly Lord Vulture's left hand and stabbed towards Night Sorrow's head. He wanted to use the method of exchanging injury for life to force Night Sorrow to retreat. At this time, Night Sorrow's strength advantage was revealed. He raised his left hand that was holding Heavenly Lord Vulture's sword and smashed his elbow onto Heavenly Lord Vulture's left wrist that was holding the short knife. This caused Heavenly Lord Vulture's left hand to be lifted up, causing him to lose the direction of his attack. At the same time, his right leg smashed into Heavenly Lord Vulture's dantian, directly shattering Heavenly Lord Vulture's dantian and sending him flying. Heavenly Lord Vulture's right hand that was holding the sword didn't have the support of chi, so he couldn't hold the weapon. After sending Heavenly Lord Vulture flying, Night Sorrow's feet shook. The ground that was made of special materials let out a violent rumble. Night Sorrow's body used the rebound force to chase after Heavenly Lord Vulture. He directly pierced through his head and landed on the ground. Young Tianlai, the person you chose is still not good enough. Are you trying to make me earn Saint Spirit stones? Then I will thank you here. I have a venue tomorrow, remember to hurry up and arrange people. Night Sorrow looked at Yang Tianlai and said. Yang Tianlia's fists were clenched so tightly that they made cracking sounds. He was one of the 7 palace lords of the Mishti dynasty. How many years had it been since someone dared to go against him like this? Now that his son's avatar had been destroyed, he still had to suffer the impact of someone else's words. He had lost all his face. The host of the blood battle stage opened the cage. Night Sorrow, who had come out of the cage, felt 2 cold lights looking at him. Chapter 1566. Night Sorrow and Gong Yufan looked at each other. Then, Night Sorrow smiled and returned to his seat. Then, it was time to calculate the profits. Night Sorrow and Datura had made a lot of money, but Night Sorrow knew that such opportunities were rare. The odds might change next time. After giving out the winner's profits, the host continued to talk about Night Sorrow's battle tomorrow. Tomorrow, Night Sorrow would fight against Guanyue Prefecture's Lord of Heaven Guanhao. It would be a grudge battle. The time was today. Evening was the prime time, so the intense battles were arranged at this time. The ethereal imperial city occupied a vast area. Countless cultivators gathered here. However, no matter how many cultivators there were, heaven monarchs were the best among them. Therefore, there were not many battles between heaven monarchs. There were many battles in the blood battle arena, but most of them were between king and the sovereigns. Therefore, the blood battle arena attached great importance to the battles between heaven monarchs. After hearing the announcement of the next battle, Night Sorrow left the blood battle arena with Datura, Ji Dao, and Lu Yun. Young master, today's battle was very exciting. Ji Dao's eyes were full of yearning. Do you want to go, too? However, the blood battle arena is a dangerous place. Therefore, think before you do anything. Be careful. Night Sorrow looked at Ji Dao and said. Then, Ji Dao, think about it. Ji Dao nodded. He naturally knew that Night Sorrow was going to fight to the death today. Wu Fing took the hundreds of thousands of spirit stones and left. However, he did not go with Night Sorrow today. Night Sorrow did not call him either. He did not want to push Wu Fing to the front. Tsang Ning was still on the top floor of the blood battle arena's tallest pavilion. Her fingers were tapping on the armrest of the chair. The host of the blood battle arena entered the pavilion and placed a storage ring on the table behind Tsang Ning. How much did you lose? Tsang Ning asked. About 5 million. Night Sorrow and his wife took 6 million, the host of the blood battle arena said. This is a loss because you didn't estimate the strength of the participants. Lower the payout for Night Sorrow for the next battle, said Tsang Ning. She was the manager of the blood battle arena. Then change it to 1, 1. The old man bowed and said, "Your name is Fu Wu, right?" I said, "Lower the odds, not even." From now on, his odds will be changed to 2, 1. Tsang Ning looked at Rune, the old man in charge of the blood battle arena. "Sir, then his opponent's odds will be 1, 2. I don't think anyone will bet on him winning. If he loses, our losses will be great." Fu Wu said in a low voice. "That won't happen, all he will do is earn us saint crystals. Just follow this king's instructions. When you introduce him, focus on how amazing his strength is and don't mention anything else. Also, the 5 million limit for a single match will be temporarily lifted." Tsang Ning waved his hand and dismissed Fu Wu. "Master, this guy earned 6 million today," Little Star said. "The blood battle arena's loss of 5 million is nothing. We will double it tomorrow," Tsang Ning said. "Yes, this guy is a fraud. He doesn't even have this kind of strength. In the few battles we know of, he has shown much more astonishing strength than this," Little Star said. Gong Yu Fan should be aware of this by now, but he can only accept it. Knight Sorrow will challenge whoever he wants. He may arrange for a powerhouse to deal with him. Young Tian Lai, on the other hand, is not aware of this. His son's clone was destroyed by Knight Sorrow and he is still angry. He will continue to fight blindly, Tsang Ning said. Little Star had been with her for a long time and was one of the few people who could communicate with her. Knight Sorrow and Datura took Ji Dao and Lu Yun to a restaurant to celebrate before returning to Treasure Seeking Street. When they returned, Wu Feng arrived. "Did you go drinking again? Brother Wu Feng is here. We made a lot of money today, so we went to celebrate," Knight Sorrow said. Then, the few of them entered the shop. "Here are some ingredients for brewing wine. They are all marked. Your wife can brew wine, so she must know the medicinal properties of these ingredients." Wu Feng took out a storage ring and handed it to Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow reached out to take it. Looking at the storage ring, he shook his head emotionally. "What's wrong?" Datura asked. "Once upon a time, storage rings were very rare in my eyes. What about now?" "They are just containers for ingredients that can be found everywhere," Knight Sorrow said. "When the level rises, the scope of your view changes," Wu Feng said. Knight Sorrow handed the storage ring and a leather notebook to Datura. "Go back later and give the ingredients to 6th senior sister. Give this alchemy notebook to her too." "Okay." Datura nodded. "You are carrying a lot of valuables now. Be careful and hide them. Don't think about buying a mansion. You will get one eventually. The ones you buy are all low grade," Wu Feng said. "Brother Wu Feng, how do you know that I want to buy a mansion?" Knight Sorrow asked in surprise. "We all fought our way up from the bottom. Our hearts yearn for stability. That's why we always prioritize where we can settle down. Didn't you also buy a small courtyard when you came to Misty City?" Edgeless said with a smile. "Then I won't buy one for now." Knight Sorrow nodded. Wu Feng must have said that for his own good. After chatting with Knight Sorrow for a while and reminding Knight Sorrow to be careful, Wu Feng left the shop. As soon as Wu Feng left, Knight Sorrow's aura changed. His main body had improved. His space-time intent had reached 99%. He would become a space-time lord if he improved further. Knight Sorrow's 7th talent bloodline energy point was also active. He felt that when his will reached perfection, the 7th bloodline energy point would be completely activated. Datura left. She had to hurry back. She didn't want to miss Knight Sorrow's battle. She also hoped that she would be by his side in every battle. Knight Sorrow was very happy that his space-time intent had increased by 1 point. After entering the Monarch realm, it was very difficult to increase one's will by 1 point. In a good mood, Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea. He also felt that he had to go to the Divine Devil Castle when he had time. He had to tell Elder Nalan and Elder Lang Yu that he might not have time to do any missions during this period. At this moment, Elder Nalan and Lang Yu were talking in the Divine Devil Castle. "I didn't expect that the kid who caused such a commotion is one of our members," Nalan said. "This kid can cause trouble, but he isn't someone who can be bullied. Originally, he didn't have anyone to protect him. It was easy for others to secretly attack him. Now, it seems that won't happen," Lang Yu said. "QIJ Starter V, well, unless it's a mission that has to be done by him, let's not arrange anything for him," Elder Nalan said. "There's one more thing. He killed the main body of the Shadow Mansion's young mansion Lord Luo Fei during his last mission. The grudge is huge. Now that he's causing trouble and killing people in the blood battle arena every day, it's impossible that the Shadow Mansion doesn't know about it," Lang Yu said. Chapter 1567. "Nalan, are you going to use your other identity to help him?" Lang Lai asked. "Not for now. If the Shadow Manor wants to deal with him, then we'll see how it goes," Elder Nalan said. Lang Lai nodded. They weren't obligated to protect anyone, but it wasn't easy to select the members of the Saint Devil Castle. If they could, they would take care of him. Night Sorrow finished refining a long sword and handed it to the client. After informing him that he wouldn't be taking any orders today, he brewed a pot of tea. "You just won 6 million Saint Spirit stones. Do you need to work so hard to accept orders?" Tsang Ning appeared in a loose robe. The robe didn't feel cumbersome on her, but it made her look more dignified. "Sir, please have a seat. I don't think I should forget my original intentions just because I have the capital. This is my hobby. Also, when helping others, it's a way to accumulate resources. It's also a way to improve your support skills," Night Sorrow said after inviting Tsang Ning to take a seat. "Not forgetting your original intentions is something that many people can't do. It's not bad that you can do it. Tell me what you can refine and see if there's anything I need," Tsang Ning said after sitting down. "I'm sorry. I'm a little tired today. I won't be taking any orders. I still have to fight tomorrow," Night Sorrow said after wiping his face with the towel Lu Yun handed him. "Tomorrow's fight will be a small one for you. If you felt pressured, you wouldn't be here to accept orders. Besides, I didn't say I was going to refine anything today." Tsang Ning looked at Night Sorrow and made things clear. "Even if I don't feel pressured, I will still respect my opponent. It's a form of respect for myself. As for what I can refine, I'll consider weapons, armor, and pills below the Emperor rank. If I can't accept any orders, I'll apologize and refuse," Night Sorrow said. "You can refine anything below the Emperor rank. Looks like you're quite capable. Alright, I'll come and take a look another day." Tsang Ning glanced at Night Sorrow, then stood up and left. Tsang Ning didn't come to refine anything. He just walked around and sent a message. Look at the original chapter section H. The forces of Sky Sun Prefecture and Guanyue Prefecture wouldn't attack Night Sorrow for the time being, but it was hard to say when they would act out of desperation. There must be spies here, so Tsang Ning came here to send a signal to Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan. Everything had to be done according to the rules. Tsang Ning did this because of Edgeless and because he wanted to meet Night Sorrow first and form a good relationship with him. As long as one was a high-level cultivator, almost all of them understood that some people were blessed by the heavenly axiom, and some people were blessed by the heavenly axiom. There were only benefits to being in contact with such people, and there were no disadvantages at all. The deluxe merit Grand Sage was a combination of both, and that was the recognition of the heavenly axiom. Not long after Tsang Ning left, Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan found out that Tsang Ning had met Night Sorrow. Yang Tianlai was so angry that he smashed the teacup in his hand. He must die. Although he didn't change his original intention of killing Night Sorrow, Yang Tianlai knew that there were some things he couldn't do. Facing Edgeless was fine. He wasn't as strong as Edgeless, but he had the City Lord's mansion and the Battle Emperor backing him. However, these were worthless in front of Zhang Ning. Zhang Ning's value was higher than his, and Zhang Ning and the Battle Emperor had a good relationship. Gong Yufan was also furious, but he also knew that if he wanted to kill Night Sorrow, he had to do it openly. Night Sorrow brought Ji Dao and Lu Yun back to the courtyard. "Young master, can you guide me in my cultivation? In the future, I'll kill for you," Ji Dao said after returning. "I can guide you in your cultivation, but as for killing for me, there's really no need for that." "Saving your sister isn't a big deal," Night Sorrow said. "Young master, you can't refuse me. This is what we agreed on." Ji Dao's somewhat dispirited eyes lit up, and he became somewhat anxious. Good. Good. Then let's talk about your saber art. You use your mind to activate your saber. Although it's powerful, it has some drawbacks. First, it's your own defense. "Tell me about yourself first," Night Sorrow said to Ji Dao. Ji Dao told Night Sorrow that he came from an ancient tribe in the wasteland. However, everyone in the tribe cultivated sword arts, and only he cultivated saber arts. His saber arts were taught to him by a saber artist who came to their tribe later. He liked saber arts, so he focused on them. As for defense, he didn't have any movement skills. "Then I'll teach you my movement skill, afterimage body. You'll have more ability to protect yourself," Night Sorrow said as he taught afterimage body to Ji Dao. Night Sorrow felt that afterimage body was suitable for Ji Dao because Ji Dao's soul power was very strong. While cultivating his movement skill, Ji Dao told Night Sorrow that he had come out with a clone. His main body was cultivating in the tribe while taking care of his sister. Night Sorrow knew that many people chose to leave their clones outside to avoid risks. If there was a problem with their clones, their main body would still be there. They wouldn't die completely. After resting for a night, Night Sorrow arrived at Treasure Seeking Street early in the morning and accepted a mission. As long as he arrived at the blood battle platform before evening, he could still accept a mission. This mission was relatively easy. He just needed to refine a cauldron of Junhua pills. After refining the pills, Night Sorrow instructed Lu Yun and Ji Dao to watch over the place before leaving Treasure Seeking Street and rushing towards the God-Fiend Castle. He had been busy recently and might not be able to accept missions. He had to inform Elder Nalan and Elder Lang Yu. When Night Sorrow arrived, Elder Nalan brought Night Sorrow to an elegant room in the underground castle. After taking off his mask, Night Sorrow told Elder Nalan his purpose for coming. "This situation is understandable. If there are any missions during this period, we will consider them carefully. Even if there are missions, we won't arrange them for you too urgently. We will also avoid the time when you need to fight," Elder Nalan said. "Thank you, Elder." Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Elder Nalan. "This is a dog-eat-dog world. You have to be careful. Some people are capable of doing anything," Elder Nalan reminded Night Sorrow. "Some people nowadays have no bottom line. Your combat strength is not a problem. Be careful and don't get ambushed." Lang Lai also appeared. "Thank you, Elder Lang, for the reminder," Night Sorrow said. He knew that Lang Lai was a kind person with a cold face. In addition, his identity was not a secret to Elder Nalan and Elder Lang Yu. "There is one more thing. Have you thought about it? You fought so crazily in the blood battle platform. One of the 7 prefectures, Shadow Prefecture, must have paid attention to you. The young prefecture lord of Shadow Prefecture has a deep impression of you. If he sees you, he might recognize you." Elder Nalan looked at Night Sorrow and said, "If it was just a simple encounter, he might not be able to recognize me. At that time, I was faster and killed him directly. The problem is that once he finds a clairvoyant, this matter cannot be hidden. Night Sorrow said. This was also a hidden danger for him. Chapter 1568. I don't want to join any faction. I don't want to be restricted. If I join someone else's faction, I'll have to do things according to their wishes. I don't like it. Night Sorrow said. He didn't like this. When he joined the Qing Emperor's dynasty, it was because of the pressure from the Red Emperor's kingdom and the threat from the Red capital. He didn't have a choice. What you said is very common among family factions. In order to develop, some families will let their members do some immoral things. However, regular factions won't do that. Elder Nayland said. I'll think about it. Although Night Sorrow decided not to join any other faction, he couldn't refuse the two elders' good intentions. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow left the divine castle. He had achieved his goal. After Night Sorrow left, Elder Nayland and Lenglai drank tea together. Looks like we wasted our breath. He didn't want to join us. He's so stubborn. Let's see how it goes. Lenglai naturally knew that Night Sorrow was just trying to shirk the responsibility. After leaving the divine castle and making sure no one was following them, Night Sorrow took off his mask and returned to Treasure Street. He went to the stall. Mandela returned. After sending the materials back, she didn't stop to rest and immediately rushed back. So fast? Night Sorrow asked in surprise. You had a battle today. How could I not come back? Datura said. It's nothing. I can handle it. Also, after you left, an Emperor Realm Cultivator came. However, he just sat for a while and left. Night Sorrow explained what happened after Tsongning came. That's a good thing. The fact that the Emperor Realm Cultivators are walking around us is a sign of their attitude, said Mandela. Yi Shang nodded. He also understood the logic behind this. Looking at the sky, it was almost time to go to the blood battle arena. Night Sorrow asked Ji Dao and Lu Yun if they were going. Knowing that the two of them were going, Yi Shang and Mandela took them to the blood battle platform in a beast carriage. The blood battle platform reserved a seat for Night Sorrow in the attic. Nodding to Datura, Night Sorrow sat in his usual seat while Datura led Ji Dao and Lu Yun to the attic to watch. After the talisman warrior appeared, he first introduced the two parties involved in the battle. Guan Hao hadn't fought many times in the blood battle arena, only twice. Just like Night Sorrow, he had won both battles. With Tsongning's instructions, Rune focused on introducing Guan Hao. He talked about Guan Hao's growth history and achievements. He even talked about the situation outside the blood battle arena. But when he introduced Night Sorrow, it was much simpler. He said that Night Sorrow was strong and good at fighting head-on. After listening to Rune Warrior's introduction, Night Sorrow was a little puzzled. Normally, Rune Warrior didn't need to be so biased. Then it was time to place bets. After hearing the payout ratio, Night Sorrow knew that the blood battle arena was going to make a profit. Obviously, no one wanted to bet on him winning. Whether it was the payout ratio or the introduction, the blood battle arena gave people the feeling that Guan Hao had a high chance of winning. Of course, there was no fake information. It was just that people had to analyze the situation themselves. The Saint Spirit stones were their own. No one forced them to bet. This time, the crowd went crazy. Almost all the spectators bet on Guan Hao winning, so they bet a lot of Saint Spirit stones. In the eyes of the spectators, Night Sorrow was only strong. There was nothing special about him. It wasn't easy for him to win two battles with such strength. On the other hand, Guan Hao had also won two battles, and his speed and strength were balanced. Now that the payout ratio was 1-2, who would bet on Night Sorrow? Night Sorrow smiled. The blood battle arena obviously didn't want him to win too much. A single bet was capped at 1 million. If Night Sorrow and Datura both bet 1 million, they could only win 1 million Saint Spirit stones. But how much did the Blood Battle Arena want to win? Night Sorrow felt that the Blood Battle Arena must have studied him and knew his situation. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done this. Bets were placed and bets were collected crazily. A single battle exceeded 5 million, and the Blood Battle Arena didn't stop. They were still collecting bets. After 15 minutes, the bets were placed. Except for a few people who bet on Night Sorrow, almost everyone bet on Guan Hao. Gambling was a gamble to begin with. Furthermore, Guan Hao had the advantage according to the information. No one was foolish enough to bet on Night Sorrow. Of course, there were some. Wu Fing had bet 200,000, Jiang Yu had bet 50,000, and no one else. Zhang Ning was also there, but she didn't want to lead the way, so she naturally didn't bet. After Night Sorrow and Datura placed their bets, Fu Wu stopped betting. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. Just now, when I went to have a cup of tea, I sent a few people to collect bets. There was an error and it exceeded the limit of 5 million per battle. But don't worry. Since the Blood Battle Arena can collect bets from everyone, we can afford to pay. We have this reputation, Fu Wu said. He did leave for a while, but Night Sorrow knew that it was just an excuse. This time, the Blood Battle Arena wanted to make a big killing. But so what if he knew? Entering the cage was a life and death battle. Knowing that the Blood Battle Arena wanted to collect Saint Spirit stones, Night Sorrow had to accept it. He couldn't risk his life and go against the Blood Battle Arena. Besides, the Blood Battle Arena wanted to collect bets, and it had nothing to do with him. Night Sorrow decided that this time, he would fight as hard as he could. When he came out, he had to negotiate with the Blood Battle Arena. They had to give him some extra benefits. Otherwise, he would kill in the next battle and no one would earn anything. As the Soul Seeker gong rang, the battle began. Night Sorrow was passively defending. After a few rounds, Night Sorrow found that Guan Hao was inferior to Li Yuan and Vulture Lord. However, in order to smoothly attack Guan Yuan manner and to obtain more benefits, Night Sorrow had to put on a show. He acted as if he was being suppressed by Guan Hao, like a boat that could capsize at any time in a storm. Little star, did you see that? Look at how smart this guy is. His opponent is just a piece of trash, and he's playing so energetically, Zhang Ning said from the highest pavilion. This is a fraud, but the Manor Lord's goal has been achieved. This time, the Blood Battle Arena will earn more, Little Star said. She was in charge of investigating Night Sorrow's information and naturally knew about Night Sorrow's situation. Under the protection of 2 heaven monarchs, he was able to kill Luo Fei, who was a heaven monarch. During the battle in the courtyard, Night Sorrow killed 2 and severely injured 1 when he was surrounded by 6 heaven monarchs. All of these required strength. Strength alone wasn't enough. If this Great One didn't guess wrongly, he must be so cooperative because he wants to make a request. Otherwise, he has no reason to do so, Zhang Ning said. He wants to make a request. He is the one who challenged the other party. What qualifications does he have to make a request with the Blood Battle Arena? Little Star snorted. In her eyes, Night Sorrow and the Blood Battle Arena couldn't be compared. Night Sorrow didn't have the qualifications to make a request. Of course, there aren't many battles between heaven monarchs. The Battle of Heaven Monarchs is the main source of income for the Blood Battle Arena. If he doesn't get any benefits, he will kill in the next battle and not give the Blood Battle Arena a chance to make use of him. Zhang Ning looked at Little Star and felt that Little Star's subjective thinking was the same as the audience below.